Hey there, folks. Thanks for joining us on the Brewery Artwalk today. We're going to wait about 2 more minutes to get started, so please just wait a little bit patiently there, and then we're going to get going with our first stop here. It's going to be an awesome tour. We're excited. Yesterday went great. Today's even going to go better. So hang on for 1 or 2 minutes, and we'll get going, all right? I think I was muted there. Let me start that again. Hey there, folks. My name is Kevin Flint. I'm an artist here at the Brewery Art Colony. I'm going to be your guide today on the Brewery Artwalk virtual tour. We did these yesterday. They were really awesome. Today we're going to see a bunch of great artists. I'm going to walk you into their lofts. They're going to tell you about themselves. I'm also going to show you the grounds, tell you a little about the history of the brewery. There's going to be all kinds of cool stuff. If you don't know what the brewery is, you're going to find out a lot about it. Quick little rundown. It is the world's largest art colony. About 550 artists live and work here, so that's a lot of people. You have to be an artist to be here, so everyone here is an artist. It's not like some of these, artist lofts where it's just a bunch of accountants and IT programmers and stuff. We are all artists here. So stick 550 artists together. That's awesome, right? Although I say it's also like sticking 550 cats together. Seems really cool until you do it. Then you're like, oh my God, that was a terrible idea. But it is a fun place. We have a lot of fun here. So we're going to be walking in these different lofts. You're going to get to meet these people. These are their homes. So that's something sometimes people don't understand. They think they're in a gallery. You're actually in these people's houses. So the live brewery art walk, usually we get maybe 10, 20,000 people come every year. Because of course, the coronavirus, we had to do it a little different this year. So we're excited, though, to bring you this virtual art walk. So we're going to get started now. I'm going to flip the camera back around here, and we're going to get going with our first stop. All right, here we go, folks. Hello. Hey, welcome back. Welcome to the artery.
It's been a while.
Tell about yourself. Let's get started.
I'm Steve Lucero. I'm a photographer, Los Angeles, LA native. Um, this is a production studio and gallery. This is an example of my work along with my wife. We are a duo. Um, we also support a variety of artists. This is a community-driven production studio. These are examples of work that are in studio and also on location. I personally do concept art. My wife does performance art, and this may be an example of those two things. This is going to be here a performance. If you didn't see it yesterday, Crystal Coffin produced by Marsh Lucero. We have Bree Beats in the house. She did some in-house production for in-house music production for this experience here. Walk on in and feel free to fly around.
All right, folks, if you guys have any questions about the performance, you can always type it in the chat there. We do take questions from the audience. As we said, this is a live tour. This isn't, some pre-recorded thing. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to type in. I'll pass. But in the meantime, do you have anything else you want to say about the performance?
The performance itself, no.
Or what you guys do here?
Self-explanatory. Please check out the arteryla.com because we do have an extensive or further in-depth explanation of what the concept is.
I'll zoom back in over here so people can get these.
We also have art for sale there and more examples of work. You can follow any one of these artists, including myself, and dig and dive further into their work. Everything we do here is in-house. Good friend of ours, Chuck, made this cage here. We've had a variety of artists perform in it, but we try to keep everything we do here, friends and new friends alike, all artists.
Great. Well, thank you for having us visit you today.
Yeah, pleasure.
Let me circle one last time so everyone gets a view of the space here.
Feel free, yes. Tune back in later this evening. We're gonna unveil the container inside and show you a little bit about how we produce the production here today. That you
and they'll get the information on from your website?
Yeah, definitely.
Great. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
You guys have a great day.
Right on.
All right, folks, that was our first stop. We had a little performance art there, along with as well some photography. Now, when you have 550 artists, you're going to have a bit of everything. And I'm not exaggerating when I say everything. We have sculptors, we have painters, we have metal workers, we have wax workers, we have people that make artisan soaps. We have all kinds of cool stuff. Now, one thing I want to warn you guys, Basically, we have to flip from Wi-Fi spot to Wi-Fi spot. So occasionally the video might go in and out a little as I flip from, cell phone coverage to Wi-Fi to back to cell phone coverage. So I'm just warning you now. The brewery is about 17 to 18 acres large. It's got, depending on how you want to count it, 20 to 23 buildings, separate buildings. There's about 330 different artist lofts in the brewery here. And like I said, there's about 550 people that live and work here. So even out here, you got doors into different studios that are right on the street. And we got to walk down here because Steve, who we just visited, is one of those ones that's out on the street. So I'm going to sprint along, see how good a shape I'm in here as we head to the next one. Now, as we get around the corner here, you're going to be able to see the actual main entryway into the brewery. As you see, it's an Art Deco style. For those of you with architecture knowledge, a little bit of history. So this was originally an East Side Brewing Company. That's what it was started as. Um, they built it in 1897, East Side Brewery, the original buildings. And there's a lot of traffic behind me, so I apologize about all the noise. 1897 is when the original brewery went in, and it was also an Edison power plant on the grounds. At the time, it was the most advanced power plant in the United States when the Edison power plant went in 1904. Pabst Blue Ribbon bought the brewery. Yep, that PBR bought the brewery in 1946, right after World War II. And that's when all this Art Deco facade was built. Obviously, it wasn't built in the 1800s. So when Pabst Blue Ribbon came along, they built this big facade and made it all fancy. One thing you're going to see as we walk along are these little placards. And I will explain what those placards mean a little bit later. Remind me. But those actually have special meaning here. And if you look straight ahead here, up on the top of this building, you barely see it. Let's see if I can zoom in, you can notice it. It does say Pabst right there. That's one of the little artifacts left over from when Pabst gave up the brewery in the 1970s, and it became what it is now, and we'll go into that history as well. But first, we got a new artist to visit. My awesome person is going to open the door for me. See that lovely Art Deco entryway? Back in the days of the grand old brewery, as it says there, 1946. So when this was erected, this was the grand entryway. So you see all the marble floors, marble staircases, cool Art Deco chandeliers everywhere. And now we're going into Magda's space, Magda Ogfrey. Let me show you her little door sign here. And there's Magda. And let me make sure we got her Wi-Fi hooked up. So give me a sec, folks. I assume we're going to connect with her.
My name is Magda Alfred. I was born in Mexico City and I've been living in Los Angeles for several years. And welcome to my place. I'm an artist. I'm working on different mediums. I do pre-making, I do ceramics, and I do painting. And we also do framing at the studio. For other artists in some of the universities of different places. So anyway, please come on in. When I moved to the brewery, this was a photo lab, so I did have to do a lot of changes, to get more light and everything, especially in the other room right here was really dark. So I use all the walls of my studio as a showroom. Um, I like again, I work on different mediums, and that's something that keeps my work, kind of refreshing all the time, so I don't have a chance to get bored at all. This it was a loft. It was built so I can use it as a bedroom up there. And it's very quiet. I love this place because it's really quiet. The walls are like really solid cement, so it's really peaceful. And for me to concentrate on my work, I really need silence and then to listen to my music and stuff like that. So please come to this room right here. And yeah, so this is my doing best. Oh. So this is the main area of the studio. I have all the tables and easel and paint area and materials on wheels, so I can move it around. I can work on different areas of the space. Um, the ceramic area right here. It's I try to I set up the studio in such a way that if I'm working on ceramics, I don't make a mess everywhere, and the same thing with pre-making and the other side. So I just try to divide the space in such a way that each area allows me to concentrate on the kind of work and on the technique that I'm working at that particular moment. These are pieces that I'm just finished. It's not fire yet. This one is the clay on the raw state. Um, and to me, what I'm doing with paint with ceramics is actually like an extension of my work. It's like if I have, for example, a design like this. This could be actually one panel for a painting. This one another one. So what I'm trying to do it with the ceramic is actually do like a 3D and have that painterly feeling also. And
Quick question. Someone asked, Charlotte asked, how long have you lived here?
uh, probably maybe about like 16 years or 17 years, something like that. A long time. And again, to have the studio the way it is right now, it took me a really really long time. Um, I did have to do a lot of changes, the lighting and everything. Oh, by the way, just like let me turn that light over there so you can see better. There you go.
All right.
So it really took me a long time to set it up the way it is right now. Um, and again, it's very pleasant. It's very comfortable. I like living here. Um, at some point, I have in a studio and in an apartment, but it was very difficult for me because I was if I was in the apartment, I want to be at the studio, and if I was at the studio, I wanted to be in another place. It was too complicated. So for me to live and work at the studio here, it works perfect. It works really good. Also, I have really good neighbors. I don't know everybody that lives at the brewery because we're too many. It will be impossible to know everyone, but my neighbors around this building right here, they're really cool. So we have a very nice and comfortable community right here at the brewery. It's very friendly. Yeah. And yeah, so that's the etching. This is my etching press, and that's one of the etchings right there. And lately, my cats they've been hanging out right here. They kind of like the blanket or something, and I can get from jump from there at all. So yeah, this is it. This is my place. If you have any questions, please you can contact us. Later on today.
You guys can also type them in right now if you have any questions for
Yeah,
Magna.
yeah. Oh, okay, cool.
They
Yeah.
can ask me right now.
All right, awesome, awesome.
Let me get some
And
close-ups here on your ceramic again.
yeah, and also the fact that through our work and our walk, I've been able to meet really good people and make some friends, um, collectors as well, and of course, that's beautiful because that's a human contact of the artwork and the connections that you can make. Um, it really brings us together.
And I want to remind everybody, all these artists, all their websites, all their information is on the brewery website. So you can go there, you can get their websites, their Instagrams, their Facebooks, all those sort of things.
Right.
And all of us are professional working artists. So
Right.
we do this for a living. So if you see a piece of art you like, we would love to have you help us.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So one quick question. Someone asked, do you plan to do ceramics or painting printing separately, or do you plan to merge things together or keep doing as separate bodies of work?
Separate bodies of work. Like for example, when you're working for a particular team, of course, all the work will be related to that. But working at the studio, it gives me the chance to do like a random thoughts. It's like a random thing, so I have the freedom to paint literally whatever I want. So We were planning actually before, right before this thing. We were planning to have an exhibition in a gallery in Wilshire area, and the work actually that I'm creating right now, the ceramics, that were going to be for that particular show, and of course I was going to be able to have some paintings as well. But yeah, I mean it's for me it's very difficult to choose only one technique or one style. It just doesn't work for me. I like to work on different mediums again, and have it's just like random thoughts. My ideas came from a little tiny book like this. This is how I start doing my drawings, and later on some of these they turn into projects and stuff for paintings and like this one right here. This one came from my bull series, my bulls don't fight series. This is actually the first drawing that I made several years ago, and then from here I went to do a series of sort of like a monoprint process, and yeah, so that's how my images came from.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to walk our way back out here. Let me spin the camera around so I don't crash
Alright.
into anything.
Okay.
Magda, thank you again for letting us come into your studio, your
You're very
home.
welcome. You're welcome. Thank
Your
you for
life.
coming. Thank you for coming.
Oh, there's one of our many brewery cats.
Yeah,
Lydia.
Yeah.
he's super friendly.
There are more cats than people in the brewery. Fun fact.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Okay, folks, back here in this nice fancy entryway, we're going to be walking into basically what is a concrete box. So reception will be spotty until I get to the next Wi-Fi hotspot. I'm going to try to run to it to get us there as quick as possible, but I just like to warn people, things can sometimes get a little spotty between the Wi-Fis. So let's get running. Let me connect to the next Wi-Fi node and get some good reception here. All right. Where we're at.
Okay, so this is the studio of Stephanie Bosworth, that's me, and I'm the mega trophy wife. So first of all, I would like to talk about. I have a website where I make sculptures from these trophies, as you can see. But first of all, I want to mention this. So I have a mutual friend of me and the other artists who exhibits in my studio, and he did this fabulous photo of me like the Mona Lisa. And so that's on my website, and so I make these pieces. I get the trophy pieces from all over the place, and so this is a motorcycle one. This is like a wheel. It was supposed to be a wheel of fortune, but I actually call it the wheel of futility. All the different sports competing against each other. And they're not getting any. They're going round and round, and they're not getting anywhere. And oh, wait, let me turn the light on here. And so this is my triple layer cake, I call it. And that came from, so these light fittings I found in the street, bought them off a homeless guy for $5. They were filthy dirty. And I got them home, I doused them in alcohol, and I scrubbed them with soap and water, and then I power washed them with a jet spray. And would you believe the lights still work? I'll show you. So I was very happy that the lights still work. So I made one into a I made one into a chandelier. Just imagine that in your man cave if you're a sporting hero. and you've got a bunch of trophies you don't know what to do with, I'll make you a chandelier for your man cave. And this one here is this is what I call my baseball confection. It's really fun working with the little shiny, happy action figures. And I can do whatever I want with them. Put them in different positions.
You did the fridge
it's kind
too.
of like adult play. It's like playing with dolls.
You did the fridge
too. Yeah, I did the fridge. Yeah, I got a bunch of balls for a ball pit, and the fridge is so ugly. I thought couldn't look any uglier. And it kind of goes with my lamp that I made, which is that lamp there. So this was about the third one I made. Yeah, it's really fun to work with. And then this one here was commissioned by a tennis pro who was disposing of he didn't like these ones, his wife didn't like them either. And he gave me his trophies, and then I showed him what I did with them, and he said, he asked me to make him a piece out of his 4 favorite ones that he was going to keep. So he gave me this plate, this glass, this cup, and this figure here. So I just used those in this piece here.
So basically, people have a collection of like 20 trophies. They can give them to you.
Exactly.
And come out with one trophy, and it won't take as much space in the house.
Absolutely, yes. I like to think I've breathed new life into them. Yeah. And so that's it for my stuff. Do you have any other questions?
If anyone has any questions, remember to type them up. Otherwise, if you want to.
I don't have a computer. I don't have my computer on right now. So.
No, they can type them up. I can read any questions, but
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to
some of them are bolted on, and some of them are glued. It just depends. And so now we have Raphael Burnwell, and this is my friend Oscar Arce, and he works for the Louis Burnwell Institute, and I will let him carry on.
Hi, so Stephanie's invited Raphael Burnwell to exhibit here in her studio, and she's done it with his artwork, which ranges from sculptures to drawings to etchings. He's been doing art for at least the past 40 years. He was influenced primarily by his first art teacher, who was Alexander Calder, as a child, who taught them how to actually make sculptures and eventually draw. He continued that passion, and with a hint of surrealism, which is part of his father's legacy, he's continued to make his art. So as you see here are some custom sculptures that are made, and they're made out of different materials, from alabaster to wood to bronzes as well. Then over here to the left, you have a series of etchings that were taken from a collection of drawings that he's been doing over the past 50 years. He's been doing these etchings. They're all concept and technique based. There's more etchings here. And you can see there's always a hint of black humor, surrealism, concepts. But a lot of the ideas get derived from his sculptures. He starts to work out an idea, usually in some shape or form, as a sculpture. He really enjoys women. He really enjoys movement and abstract concepts that he then does in different materials.
Here we have bronze, marble, wood.
Yeah, so this one was a study for sculpture that eventually ended up being 8 feet high.
Chakmula.
Yeah. Then here are more of his playful sculptures with animals that he's created within his own imagination. Animals that could exist but don't exist, but now do. You know, spider made out of fingers instead of
I want
legs.
to demonstrate how beautifully this one moves. It's very nice. The tail wags and the head nods. Plus, it has a man. It also has a man's head as well as a turtle head.
And then here we have more of his etchings. As you can see, he uses different techniques when it comes to making his drawings and then applies them deeply in etchings. He was very influenced also in his drawings by Saul Steinberg, famous New York cartoonist. And then this series here is actually a series of etchings he did with his brother, Juan Luis Buñuel. They both studied with Calder, and at one time his brother, who lives in Paris, was here, and they did a series of etchings together, and this is it.
Oh, what about the place? Well, I always like to go in my sleep, and I slide out of bed every morning, literally, and I like to swing as well.
Yeah, as a reminder, everyone, I mean, she lives here. This is her house, not just a gallery. We're not in some static gallery somewhere. We're in someone's house. That's why she has the swing and the cool kitchen and all that stuff. We do have a quick couple questions came in for you. Where are you from originally?
New Zealand.
New Zealand. And other question was, how much does your trophies cost?
Whoa. I would say POA, price on application.
Okay, so
my website is megatrophywife.com, so you can contact me on that.
so it's megatrophywife.com. And remember, all the links are also in the brewery page for it.
Yeah.
And how long does it take for you? Someone asked, how long does it take for you to make one of your trophies?
Ooh. It depends. It takes several days of thinking about the concept, and then it can take anything from a few days to a few weeks. Yeah.
All right.
And I also wanted to mention, these are some of Luis Buñuel's movies, scenes from his movies, clips from his movies. Is it the same one? No. It should be a loop. Oh, it is a loop. It's actually a movie. But yeah, Luis Buñuel made about 40 movies over the course of several decades. From 1920 with the first movie with Salvador Dali up until the 80s. So it's nice to have two generations, actually almost basically three generations of art in the studio. So Luis Buñuel's, Raphael Buñuel's, Jean-Louis Buñuel, and moi. So yes.
All right. Anyone else have any more questions? You can go ahead and type them in if you got anything. I think looks like no more questions. So you guys, it was awesome to come visit with you guys. Awesome to come find out about both your art and Raphael's as well. And thank you guys for letting us come walk through your life.
Thank you for visiting. Nice to see you. Have some water.
Oh.
It's still sitting there from yesterday. Nobody's touched it except
All right.
you.
I hope not.
Nobody's touched it.
If I drop dead, I'm going to blame you. All right.
Okay, bye-bye.
And zoom around here, folks, so you can see their names again. And the two artists we just saw in there. And there. So now I'm going to spin around, give you guys a good view of where we're at now. This is the interior of one of the buildings here at the brewery. This is called the Atrium. That's what it's been named. The Atrium has about, 30 or so, 40 spaces in it. So this one little building here has about 40 different spaces in it. These were originally, various buildings of the actual brewery when it was an actual working brewery, warehouses and such. You can see they put in some trees there. Now there's a lot of greenery I'm going to show you at the brewery, but there's no actual dirt anywhere at the brewery. So everywhere you see greenery, at some point someone just jackhammered through the cement here, got till they hit some dirt, and then threw a tree in there. There's a lot of trees where there's just some little hole about 6 inches wide with a whole tree growing out of it. And that's how all the gardens here at the brewery started. There's other spots where people literally just put about a half a foot of dirt on the asphalt and started planting plants, and they all took there. So it's kind of interesting, the gardens here at the brewery. And actually, the LA Times did a story many years ago, this back like in the 90s, called The Gardens of the Brewery. And it featured all these crazy gardens all these artists have built basically on the asphalt. And I always think that the atrium here looks kind of like a typical, Van Nuys apartment building where you have the three sides and there should be an empty swimming pool here in the middle. And we'd basically be in, the valley somewhere at some just regular apartment complex, except these aren't regular apartments. They're giant concrete blocks that artists have taken over. So we're going to head over to the next artist. Who do we got next here? Cinda Vale. Again, I'm going to turn on Wi-Fi.
Hello, my friend. Hi, everybody. Uh-oh, it's okay, honey. You can just leave it like that. Okay, please come in. This is where that magic happens, as you know, Kevin. And this is my friend and one of my dealers that handles me, Daphne of Enchanted Studios up in Burbank. Check it out.
All right.
We don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to just ask you to pan. What you're looking at here is about 3.5 to 4 years of output. And wow, I haven't had it on the wall in 3 years. I just stacked it here and there, so I've never seen my own output in the last 3 years. And I gotta say, I'm so happy and proud of myself. I sort of can't believe I did this. It's like a bit like a dream I have at night, except for now they're concrete things. I really like that feeling. These images come from the heart. I also teach here. This is where CMSA takes place, a painting atelier where you get private painting lessons. I'm still up and running right now because I have high ceilings and there's lots of ventilation. So I think people are coming to CMSA safely. Hope you will too. Miss you all so much. This art walk is wonderful, except for I miss the people a lot. So hope to see you all in 6 months. We'll see. Kevin, if we have another second, can we focus?
We have plenty of time.
Let's focus in on a few individual paintings. Or why don't we focus on this wall here for a minute? Okay. One series that I've been working on for the last 10 years or so that I thought I had finished 4 years ago. But these are brand new paintings, and I noticed that they're all about women and water, which is that theme that I supposedly gave up years ago. But for some reason, this particular theme comes back again and again. These you can see that's water. She's lying in the water at the beach. She actually did that. This woman is standing on a step ladder with a giant skirt. She actually posed like that for me for the photographs, which is real cool. But it's women in water. And then I did this one of a female octopus, definitely about water. And this one of a woman lying on a sandy beach being rescued by her son. So I think maybe this theme is not done for me yet. But if you'll come down and maybe pan on these two right here, I find that I do have a new interest. And that is, in particular, painting men. I spent the last 30 years I've lived. The last 25 was up in rural Northern California, and it's a very traditional place. I had 2 sons, and as best I could, I raised them to be progressives, but they also were influenced by that real traditional male macho thing that goes on in many parts of the world. And then I came to LA and met Michael Sabat. He taught me what a man can be today. I mean, he's very masculine. He's a beautiful man to look at. But I've never met a man that was also so comfortable with the woman inside. So he's comfortable talking about anything. He's comfortable with his emotions. He's a wonderful artist. All my models just come out of my daily life, and I never know particular why I pick a certain person. But I think Michael is now definitely my muse, because you can see 7 paintings of him along this row, and I'll be doing 3 or 4 more.
We have a few questions. Have you ever collaborated with any musical artists, like album covers or anything like that?
Oh, I would accept any commission, guys. I hope you're aware, if you're a musician yourself, that it's tough times for us.
Other question, what medium are you using? Is this, someone asked if these are prints or is this?
These are paintings. There's 2 full-size prints because I sold the original.
So what medium are you using then with your paint?
This is oil on canvas, but underneath, if you look underneath, see all this stencil work in here, like right there? It looks like lace. That's all lace stencils sprayed with spray enamel.
So why don't you show us your work area real quick so we can get an idea what you're using for materials.
Well, let me show you my palette, Kevin. You noticed it the other day.
I did, but these people are all new. They've never been in your studio before.
All right, here it is, guys. I always put clean paint out when the paint below gets dirty, and it results in these really strange towers of paint. When they get about this messy, I usually put them aside and start a new one. But I collect them, not sure why. I have 5 or 6. Just can't throw them away.
Notice there's oil paint on every surface in her place.
Yeah, don't show the unmade bed or the weed.
Yeah, people want to see how you really live. They get to see the unmade bed and everything.
Oh yeah, weed is legal. Okay.
Yeah, weed is legal now, so it's okay. So I notice it's funny when I walk around Cinna's place, every surface has paint on it. And of course, just like we saw at our last stop, we have the requisite swing.
Oh yeah.
But when you have these high concrete ceilings, it's like, well, why not stick a swing set in? As you saw at Cookie's place, why not put a slide in? Why not have fun with your space? I mean,
yeah, that's the beauty of it, because we're recognized as artists. That's part of the reason we're here. Usually a landlord will not rent to the artist for all the reasons you just mentioned. There's paint all over everywhere, and we usually don't have a great credit rating. So to be in a place like the brewery, where you got to be an artist to sign the lease, has been just a wonderful thing. It's like, it feels like being in art school again. Like I'm living in the art dorm, because I'm living cheek and jowl with 300
550
other artists. Oh, it's both wonderful and horrible.
I already made my joke about the cats to people. It's like putting 550 cats in one spot. It seems like a great idea until you do it. You're like, what was I thinking?
But how wonderful there is somewhere in the world a place for us.
It is.
I've been struggling with that for 40 years now.
All right, I'm going to back around so everyone can get a good expansive view of your place.
Yeah, this time I moved here from a conventional home where I was painting out in the garage. So frankly, this feels like artist heaven.
Oh, we might have another question. Let me see. It's a question about the music again. She missed it. Yes, she has not yet collaborated with any musicians, but she would definitely do it. She loves to collaborate, and she loves to take commissions from, anyone who wants to do a commission with her. She can do it in her style.
Okay, I have to make one small disclaimer. I no longer work for free.
She doesn't work for free. That's good. You're a professional artist. Professional artists shouldn't work for free.
Yeah, no kidding, babe. And so quit asking everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
That's rude. Don't ask the artist to work for free.
Not rude, because they value me as much as I value myself.
No, but it's rude when big companies ask artists to work for free.
There you go.
They're like, oh, will you decorate our offices for free? All right, I'm going to show you guys her little breakfast nook here. It's like in a little diner. That's all right. This is a lived-in space.
You bet.
All right.
I just didn't happen to clean the personal parts, so apologies.
All right. Thank you for letting us visit.
See you this afternoon.
Yep, we'll be back this afternoon.
Here, I'll deal with this, honey. It's ridiculous. I know. It was free.
Awesome. We're gonna go upstairs.
Thank you, guys.
To who?
We've got a little, since our gap time is, we've got a little time to them.
Okay, I'm going to stand up here. All right. So now I'm walking upstairs here. Give you another view. Oh, she's not showing.
Yeah, so Laurie's our next stop, but she's not building something inside right here.
All right, so give you guys a little view here. Tell you a little bit more history while we're up here. So again, just to remind you guys, the brewery has been around as an actual you know, buildings and stuff. So for over 100 years, actually 125 years now. So it's got a really long history here. The power plant, 1904. The actual brewery buildings first started in 1897. The power plant was decommissioned in about the 30s. Actually, they even stopped using it about in the late 20s. You know, technology just moved real fast past it, even though at the time when it was built, it was the most advanced in the world. You know, time passed it by. The brewery actually survived Prohibition. One neat thing is people wonder, how would a brewery survive Prohibition? They actually started making soft drinks and stuff. And so then when Prohibition ended, all the other breweries in the area had already shut down. But the brewery, the Eastside Brewery, had stayed open making soft drinks. They'd changed themselves to Eastside Beverage Company. And when Prohibition ended, they were one of the few places able to go online and start selling alcohol. So what happened was they produced this really rapid batch of beer, and apparently there were trucks going miles away the day Prohibition ended. They had all these treasury agents all over the complex to make sure no beer snuck out early, and then it was basically a line miles long to get beer once Prohibition ended. That led to a lot of success, and then later on, because of that success, that's when PBR, which by then had become a huge brewing force in the middle of the country, came and took over the operations here. So we're going to head to our next artist. All right, so we're going to spin around here. Let me make sure we get a new connection here on the Wi-Fi.
Mine is a very friendly orange cat.
Another awesome cat.
Very handsome German.
All right, and let me do the Wi-Fi here again. Hang with me, folks.
You're not in hotspot again.
Okay. So you should see it, and let's get started here.
Hi, I'm Laurie Shapiro, and welcome to my studio. I'm going to give you a tour.
And let's show this little. I told everyone there's cats everywhere here. Oh, she's so friendly. She's gonna attack me.
He wants to get.
Rubbing my leg. Now I'm gonna smell like cat. So when I when I go someplace with a dog, the dog's gonna attack me again, which happened earlier.
So we're gonna give you a tour.
Oh, let me kick my shoes off because this is a full art experience here. All right. Tell us about yourself and what you do.
I am a installation artist and a painter. So I make installations with my paintings, which are also very mixed media in nature. I do a lot of screen printing and sewing, and then everything is painted.
All right, give me 1 sec. Some people are saying they're not seeing the screen. Sorry, guys. We got kind of a bad Wi-Fi connection here. Let me know if you can't see the screen, folks. Yeah, people, hold on. Let me try again. All right, folks. People seeing video yet? Still not seeing anything. All right, let me try something else. If you can see video, let me know. I'm going to keep trying. Still no video. All right, I'm going to try a different Wi-Fi real quick.
Thank you. Sorry.
Hang with me for a minute, folks. For some reason, the Wi-Fi isn't working here. Let's see what I can do here to get you guys some video. All right, I'm going to try just switching to my phone coverage. Oh, some people are seeing video. So I have some people saying they see video and some not. Okay, so it looks like we got video. Let Make sure. Yep. All right. Looks like we got enough now signal to get some video in. So we might lose it again. It's a big space we're in right now, but for now we got video. So let's start again. Go for it.
Okay, sorry about the delay. My name is Laurie Shapiro, and I'm a painter and installation artist. And I'm gonna take you through my studio where you'll see some installations and paintings. And all of the installations are made of paintings. So yeah, let's walk through it. This is the biggest room in my studio. And then also in this room, this is an installation in here, and then I have the walls up there because I'm going to be starting some work on that wall. But this is an installation called Alchemy Tunnel that I have installed here right now. And I'm going to show you what it looks like with the lights moving. So this is a very immersive painted space. And then if you follow me up here, I'll show you some paintings in another room.
Compliments on your work and your cat coming in. So
The cat wants to be in all the videos. So these are a bunch of new paintings up here that have all been made over the last 7 months of just yeah, being in quarantine, being in
question,
here.
what medium are you working with?
I work with water-based paints, screen printing, and sewing. I mostly hand sew, and my screen prints are all drawings that I make that are based off of nature and talking to plants, and then putting that as repetitive elements in my work. And then the last room that we're gonna show you, the two of us, is the red room, which is part of a installation series that I'm working on. So this is another immersive room. It's all red. Peach, stop it. It's all red. There's the colors also change in here, so I want to show you that too. And they just got dark. Okay. Here we go.
People love it with the green. So 2 compliments so far about the green when the green light was on.
Green, it really contrasts.
Yeah.
It's kind of Christmassy, but yeah, it's good.
I noticed downstairs you have your printmaking setup there. Do you want to tell us a little about take us down there and show us a little of your process, how you do all this?
Yeah, I could show you some prints that I just made too. They will, the prints that I just made will end up being on new pieces that I'll have over here, and then they'll go somewhere else. But these are some screen prints that I recently made, which are down here. So actually, you can see that like these are a bunch of like 2 and 3 color prints, and it's the same as these. So I use a lot of the same drawings as repetitive images, but these will end up going on pieces that, you know, there'll be patterns in some of the pieces, and then these are another group of prints that will also go into stuff, and they're also in this piece here. They're in a lot of them. I've been using this pattern in particular for, I don't know, like 2 years or 3 years. So I make these drawings and then I use them a lot in ongoing work.
Now you live in this space too, right? Or not?
Sometimes.
Sometimes?
Yeah.
As I said before, folks, you see there's a kitchen and everything in these spaces. Sometimes
There
people
is,
think they're just in a
yeah.
gallery. They're not just in a gallery here.
Yeah.
And this is your equipment here you use to...
This is my printing press, which, yeah, I used to make screen prints. There's still the last one on here from the last set that I did. I might do more printing at some point today. I'm not sure. But, you know, printing, you do it all at once, and then I kind of have them for a bit. But, yeah, it's a cool contraption. It's good if you're doing multicolors on fabric.
Oh, we are losing some video. Let's see if we got it back. I think we're back on. All right. Circle back around here. One last look. We're going to get a good look here at the space some more. And how long have you been doing work like this?
I've been doing installation work for like the last 10 years, and I've been in LA for 3 years, a little over 3 years.
Oh, there's the other star of the show.
Yeah, his name is Peach, and he is my studio helper. He likes to get in the middle of everything.
Yeah, as I said, there's 550 artists in the brewery, and there's about 650 cats in the brewery. So I think
Wow, there's 550 artists here.
Yeah, and there's more cats than that, I'm pretty sure. So.
Wow, the cats ruled the place.
Yes. Did you preconceive the installation space, or does it grow organically as you go along?
There's a basic outline, and then there's freedom in the work. So, Alchemy Tunnel, which is up in the second room right now, I knew I was going to make a rainbow tunnel. By that, if you look at the work in pictures online, you can probably see it better, but it's made up of 6 or maybe it's 7 panels that are like red, orange, yellow, green, blue. And it's a rainbow tunnel. But now, like, the red room, that was meant to be red, but like all the details, that happens freely, and that has to happen freely, because that's the fun part about being an artist. You can make a base of something, but the work needs to be organic and intuitive.
So you script out basically the whole concept, and then you just kind of let it flow from there.
Exactly, yeah.
Cool. Any other questions, folks? Feel free to ask any more. We've had some good questions here. I'm going to circle back around towards the printing press and get another good view of this room. There, so you get the artist, the equipment, and the final result all in one shot there. The cat, of course, finally decided to duck out of this last great shot, but that's okay.
Because somebody's giving him attention.
Oh, yeah, she's getting attention from someone else. All right, I'm going to circle back in. All right, any last... Oh, are the floors permanent?
The floors are the floors are like Mylar with multi-layers of Mylar and screen prints and painting. So no, they can move, and they will move. I did not actually paint on the floor in here. It's like a big painting that's put on the floor.
That was probably
and the walls in all these places too, it's on fabric. It's on muslin, which is very similar to canvas. Everything is mobile and moves. but it's also delicate and handmade art.
So you can move this to an installation space or someone's space.
Yes, and Alchemy Tunnel was in a gallery called Radiant Space last year.
Okay.
And now it's in here, and it will probably move somewhere else.
And where's Radiant Space at?
Radiant Space was in West Hollywood, but they recently they closed in like their physical space closed in February, I think.
Okay. So you're now ready to do your next installation space and move all this somewhere else, though, right?
Yeah, when the time is right.
All right. That sounds awesome. We can't wait to see it someplace live again soon.
Same here.
You got to say goodbye to Peaches. Oh, look at you. You just think you're the star of the show, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Nice seeing you again. And say goodbye to all the world out there.
Thanks for tuning in.
All right, folks. We're stepping backwards here. Not crashing into anything. And again, that was Laurie. And again, zoom in there. All of these artists' websites are available or can be found on the Brewery Artwalk website. So be sure to tune into the Brewery Artwalk website and check it out there. I'm going to back out. All right, so someone asked a question, general question I can answer. Do different size studios cost more? Yes, different studios cost very different amounts here at the brewery. There's some pretty small spaces that are, a little bit more affordable. And there's giant spaces that are, $10,000 a month. I actually myself rent 3 spaces here because I'm a weirdo. The spaces I have are all different prices. And in fact, one of them, the biggest space I have is the cheapest space because there's no windows in it. It's a totally interior concrete block. So, it's not as desirable. You feel like you're in a tomb in there. It's my photo studio, so it's perfect as a photo studio, but the rents are lower sometimes. Where some of the spaces that have so I'm switching Wi-Fi again, folks, so bear with me. Bear with me as I get to our next Wi-Fi. All right, give me a second, folks. Oh, found it. Look at this slow pan here. 2, Burton Gray. He's got his coffee for himself, and I'm sure for me too this morning. I'm sure. No, I'm okay. I actually just drank a cup of coffee.
Okay.
Oh, we're having problems with video again. Let me make sure we can get the video up. Okay, video's back. Right. Sometimes in those hops, we lose a little video for a moment, depending on their Wi-Fi. All right, tell us about yourself, Burton.
I am Burton Gray. As you may have guessed, I like coffee in the mornings. Later in the day, I'll switch to wine. You guys want to tune back in?
That's when you need to have me a glass when I come back later.
I've got it actually ready to go.
All right. Right.
Actually, if you have requests, let me know.
No, it's up to you.
Too, so
yeah, you guys, if you join the afternoon show, you can drink wine along with Burton while he does his tour.
Yeah, probably going to be a red, but if you have a request for a white, I've got a nice dry white, a nice white burgundy maybe, but let me know. Anyways, so less about wine, more about what you guys care about, art, hopefully. Yeah, I'm a digital artist now. I used to be an oil painter, so a lot of times people actually think they're oil paintings, not when they're in print form here, but it's probably better scanned than upstairs. This is more popular pieces. But you can see like pieces evolve, they change with time. Is this a projection type issue? Can you guys hear all right? Or am I projecting loud?
I think everyone can hear you.
All right. So here's an example of things evolving. Like it starts off as a cloud. And that was like a painting for a while. That's how I was selling it. And then I went to like more ornate cloud, and I had a little person for when it's bigger, but for this scale, then I switched it around. It's kind of subtle, but you know, it's kind of fun to work this way. Things can change with time. You get high detail and on a reasonable price. So,
Amy just said
like,
she
here's an
loves
early
your work
version
and
of the
loves
skull.
Amy just said she loves your work, loves your studio. She's so sad she can't visit in person this year, as she usually does. So
Well,
I'm not sure who Amy is,
sorry,
but
Amy.
she was yeah, she was looking forward to a real studio visit, but she gets this instead. So
Thanks,
not
Best.
not
Here's my
too bad.
greatest hits. You probably just saw all these there. So fun game at home. How many of these pieces did you just see when Kevin scanned it? Actually, I don't have that print out. It's a Pete Venus. That's a popular one.
So this is basically a collage of a lot of your.
It's a collage. I'm digital. I generally, philosophically, I'm opposed to like this style digital. I'm more like purist. I basically paint them like an oil painting, except I utilize layers. This is like bastardizing it.
A one-time.
This is just for promotion and really just, I don't know why. Just because it's better than just having my name like that thing up there. P.S. If you're interested in my work, burtongray.com for all your fine art needs. Yeah, can I explore more about what I do? So
you got about 10 minutes here, so let's have some fun.
Oh, really? Want me to do a quick 5-minute demo for digital?
If you want, yeah.
Okay, let's burn through like the background so people know what to ask. Anyway, so I'm digital, but I was an oil painter, so I'm built that way. So like I said, people are confused by that. Watch out for the camera, by the way. By the way, and please interrupt if you guys have any questions. I don't know if is that clear for you guys. There's the only cat I got. Everyone else in the group has a cat.
Yours is a digital cat.
I've got
everyone's seen everyone's cat.
This is my only cat, so don't worry. I don't have to feed her. Anyway, so what I do, if you go online, just a quick, the business aspect of it. All my images are available. If you don't see something that I posted in Instagram or Facebook that you're interested in, obviously just let me know and I'll upload it. But it's all available in like a couple formats and like stretch canvas, acrylic back for shine. Oh, this isn't on. Acrylic for like to make the colors pop, or stretch canvas. But if you want to order directly from me, you got to contact me. I have a price list on there that's under the Burton Gray Studio in my burtongray.com site, and that's where you can learn more about like these productions I do, which are canvas productions. They're made by me. I wouldn't say the image quality is any better than the production house that makes all my other stuff, except they don't offer what I like, which is painted sides or stained sides. Also, as an added bonus, I face stamp them. Let's see here. Okay, got it. One is obvious. Here we go. It's pretty obvious.
Zoom in if you guys see that. He puts a little impression of his own face on every piece.
And that's actually up here.
We can show you that next.
This is how you know it comes from the studio. Prices are basically in line with the stretch canvas version. It takes a little bit longer when I do it, and it's probably slightly less perfect, but they look pretty awesome. I'm a big fan. So this is the raw material. I print them in-house right here. I stamp them.
See his giant printer there? So you print them there, and then you stamp them with the personalized stamp.
And I mount them like, well, I haven't mounted this yet. But,
so this is step 2.
Step 2, and then I've already pre-stained or painted these, so this is stained option. So this is the pre-mount, and then it will be the soon-to-be mount.
One of our friends just chimed in from Ireland, and they were wondering why the tour started ahead of time. Daylight savings time in certain countries and different places do different things. So sorry for those anyone who thought the tour was starting right now. Well, then, and it started an hour ago.
Good news, you didn't miss me.
Yeah,
but,
you got the, you know, as Burton's saying right now, he's the best stop on the tour. He thinks.
Whoa. I wasn't quite that cocky. I'm just saying you didn't miss me. I'll let you guys be the judge of that, but that's what you like, really. Yeah, so I got lots of different styles. They're all by me. I get that. That's my next popular question is like how many artists are in here? Because I have like 5 or 6 different styles and genres. So I do a lot of robots, the sad robots with the eyes. Those are my commentary on social media. I mean, like, live in a world we can feel but we can't touch. So that's why they just have the eyes, so they're kind of sensory deprived. This is a popular piece for like living rooms and environments.
You want to tell us about this piece right here?
Sure. This is a life cycle piece. Kind of starts at the bottom with like coming out of nothingness into existence. It's kind of like the boat, the ferryman, like the river Styx. I'll put my copy down so I can get animated. You go through like the birth canal. Then there's the first landscape is kind of childlike, colorful. As you go up the path, it gets less childlike. You get like a treehouse. You have a real house, you keep going, you get a mausoleum as you start to lose people in your life, and then the path turns into water, and the water turns into light, from whence he came. But I like to merge the formal elements with the narrative. So that's the narrative element, and then the formal element just this exploding green force thing. So when I look at it, it emanates, but all the paths a lot of energy goes back towards the center and up. So it's kind of creates a calming effect because there's an between, despite all this organisms and things going back and forth, there's a sense of order still. So this is a relaxing piece that I did basically when I was doing my taxes. So I wanted a counterpoint, just psychologically, to something to stare at. And this is available small, big. 1x2s are a little under 100 mounted, and these are obviously a bigger one, 580. All my prices online for in Burton Gray's studio section are including in shipping.
We had a couple people compliment how they thought their oil. One person just said they thought they would be looking at oil paintings.
Well, I'll show you the quick 5-second demo upstairs real quick. And then this is the other end of the spectrum. So this is well, that one's relaxing. These are all these color forms intermixing, and so it's keeps your brain moving. So it's high contrast. The forms are designed that are soft to sharp, so it leads your eye around, so it spins you around. And the narratives are subliminal. Most notable is that it's a giant skull, so it constantly reminds you of death.
Someone's asking about the creation of the green tree piece.
It started off as just a bunch of little baby landscapes, and then I just merged. Again, that's the advantage of digital. Every stroke is painted by me like an oil painting, but then I can manipulate. I can do it 100 times. That's the biggest advantage. It doesn't get muddy. I can rework things. Are we on time? Can I do the Let me do a quick 5-minute demo for you guys.
We got 8 minutes before our next person.
All right, we're gonna go up and up into the laboratory up here. Yeah, I've never been up here. I'm a little nervous with that serial color. By the way, just so you guys know, I've known Burton 10 years, and I've never seen him wear anything except what he's wearing now. The sweater vest, the tie, the sneakers.
Ooh, sneakers.
It's a little serial killer looking with that beard and stuff. That's all right.
All right, well, this is a big piece I'm working on. So as you see, I usually start black and white, and I work that out. Let me get this.
And what software are you using?
All Photoshop.
All Photoshop.
But at this point, I've been working this one for a bit.
Wow, I love the vertical screen action.
Yeah, everyone says, "Oh, it's so special. It's just a monitor."
I know. I'm gonna switch I have 2 monitors. I have a triple monitor set up. Why have I never thought?
Your phone every day.
Yeah. Why have I never thought to do that?
I'm brilliant, I guess. I don't know. It took me 6 months. I'm I was working on this one, and then I would figure of, they're all tall pieces, and it made sense.
Oops, hold on.
Anyway,
we lost video. Okay, we're back.
We're back. On a side note, I do hour-long paintings like this every Wednesday. You can go to my website or Instagram to figure that out. So there's a background, and this obviously in this case was actually, let me show you from the ground up. I'll do let me choose my color. Let's see. Color picker. I'll pick a mid-tone, like a burnt sienna type color. I'm on a separate layer, so nothing will be affected. This is perfect. One second. My first time. Oh, there we go. Oh, I don't know. Good thing I planned this out. Yeah. Okay, so there we go. And I'll color select. So that's what I would do. But I would start with this background. And okay. Slight delay here. There we go. So let's do quick little face things. But a male or female, do you have any requests, or just
female?
You surprised? Okay, female.
So this is just an oil paint. I block it in soft, and it gets more and more detailed as I go. And there's a slight lag because I didn't check this to make sure it was working right, but still get the idea.
Yeah, it's coming together.
I've done
so
101
quickly.
faces, so it's not that big of a deal.
And as an oil painter, the process
This
to
is
me is
just
I'm
an oil
watching
painting.
you oil paint basically, just quicker with a.
Yeah, and the big advantage is the setup's quick. I don't have the same edge control. I can't do a hard. I can't pull a little bit harder on one side than the other. So that's a really great effect I miss. But other than that, digital's the way to go for anyone. If you kids at home looking for trying to figure out your medium, digital is definitely everything. It's all pluses.
I hear good things about it. Yeah.
Digital.
Yeah. It feels like it's going places.
Yeah, it seems to be. It's definitely a future. I get much less grief about doing it. But again, so I start off, I block it in. Of course, I'm going fast as I would for real painting. And then I start filling into the forms a little bit. Maybe going a little eyes.
So you can see how quick this is coming together, folks, where he just sat down a minute ago to a blank wall of
hit some darks.
Nothing.
To define this a little bit better here. Oh, really? Oh, perfect. Let me do a whole landscape here.
I just feel time.
And then you'll just give it free to everyone on the tour, right?
I do actually for people when they pick up prints. I usually do these and throw in like an 8x10 of them, so that's an added bonus. So I don't have to ship it.
So maybe you could say you were on the tour today when you order one of Burton's prints, and you might throw in a little small free one to go with it.
I definitely would if anyone asked. Well, I prefer they pick it up and then I do pickups, but then we have to wear masks.
Yeah, so those of you in the LA area, you can still come by and visit his studio. You just got to be masked and everything.
All right, so I'll do this. I'll start adding. Actually, I would do color at this point, but I'm going to skip the color. And actually, I'll do color. So color. So I do like, now this is a separate layer on a quick side note. So like the background's untouched. So then I utilize layers. So that means when this is built up, I can do like I can change the background, make it blue sky, whatever I want. So I work forward to back because that's a huge plus. I'm not talking about pluses for digitally.
Yeah.
And you can just dive in, right? Because if I don't like the face, I can just get rid of it. Now on a separate layer, I'm going to do like just glazing. So I'm going to pick like some reds or let's say kind of a pinkish, alizarin crimson, for oil painter types kind of color, and just kind of like lightly wash over it. And then I'll like blend this in a second, but then I'll hit the darks and the highlights. That'll be essentially feel pretty much close to done. Let's see here, the ears. It's a little bit overworked, and then but here, let's say I hate it, get rid of it. But I don't hate it yet. So this in here.
So it is. You're doing the blending similar to how an oil painter works.
It's just the mental process is the same as when I was an oil painter.
I think a lot of people don't realize that. They think you're just digital people are just getting a photo and then running it through a filter or something like that.
This is like a recording of an actual painting, you know? So it's like a recording studio for a music artist on a CD. It's like they're recorded live, like you get all the tonality of the voice. So this is like a live recording of digital painting.
I hate to say it's an oil painter. This is almost, in my opinion, kind of cooler in a way, because it's like...
Well, I obviously agree, because that's why I went this way.
The creation process.
Here's the thing. You get like... You're half a step away. You're like a breath away from the actual artist making those brush strokes. Because I was doing that digital brush stroke and that everything's there. It's like perfectly rendered. And it's designed. Everyone's an original, essentially. It all is collectible because there's multiple. What makes it more collectible is I keep changing them, you know? So they shift. Like the skull can like shift here and there.
You got a bunch of people complimenting about how much they love what you're doing, just showing us right now.
Oh, cool. Thanks. I mean, that's it. And let's say I hated that, so I get rid of it. Now, let's say I like it. Let me do a whole new layer, take it whole new directions, and then I'll preserve. So this is preserved. So this is why, like, this is quick, as you can see, right? But I end up spending much more time on a panel because I can get rid of it, and I can paint, like, let's say I want it. Give me I can make it good or bad, evil or good.
Make it evil.
I need Kevin's.
I
don't know
well,
why
it's close to Halloween. You know?
Yeah,
okay.
we need it.
But let's say
make it spooky.
Give like horns, right? Or I want to make it nymph-like, right?
Or those cat ears, I can't tell.
I can do both. I'll do animal ears, or what do you want? Horns or cat ears, you know? But let's say I want to make it gruesome-ish, like coming out, twisted. Maybe I'll make eyes, or I kind of like the face. Let me.
And of course, you can just undo all these different
if I hate
steps.
this, so like just get rid of it.
Yeah.
You know, or I can do more extreme stuff. I'm obviously cutting a lot of corners here. Let's add some like blue eyes. Anyways, but so you just keep working and working and working, and then I mean, so here I'll zoom out, and then so like this is like 30 seconds. This is like 3 months, you know. And I mean, I could repaint any of this, but it gets more and more detailed. It's in a weird point at this, like the colors are working, but you can see that it's all like different layers. Like all these figures are like separate. And you can zoom in, so this could be a huge piece. It's kind of a weird narrative. This is not really representative of my piece. Like what kids having a water fight. I'm trying to build up my figure painting skills.
Someone suggested you should be sitting here doing demos like this during the actual live art walk.
I did that for one art walk, and the problem is that I'm not selling stuff. People want to question. Like, I want to buy this. Could I ask you a question? It's like, sorry, like 20 people. Like, I do have to make a sale now.
That makes sense.
But if you want, every Wednesday, check out Instagram. I post that I do a Zoom show every Wednesday. Currently, it's 7:30 to 8:30, and you can join, or I mean, you can just watch if you like. But if you want to just be vocal, you can ask questions, right? So it's instant. I take requests.
So that's every Wednesday, guys. Go to Burton's Instagram, and you can see what he's doing now, but a little bit, not quite as pressured to do it in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I have an hour to do it. So let me see. I don't have it. Do I not have it open?
So every Wednesday at
I do have
7:30,
beautiful. So like,
join in, and
yeah.
Burton
So this
will.
was last week's. This was the live show for last week. So this was like
Oh,
an
wow.
hour painting. You know,
That took you 1 hour.
So I mean, it's not a masterpiece or anything, but it's fun. So I took requests because I basically early in the day I post like 4 options and people voted on them. And
Oh, that's awesome.
so on Instagram, if you follow me, you can see like these were the 4 options.
So on Instagram, people could decide where they wanted you to go with it.
Yeah,
or...
actually, this one won handily, but like everyone who tuned in wanted this one, so I'm like, sorry, people who didn't tune in.
All
So
right.
I mean, anyways, that's it in a nutshell.
So you got a little shot at Burton's, and I'm going to show you his life here. See his perfectly made bed.
Oh, thank God I made my
Look
bed.
at that. Cinda was a little mad because she hadn't made her bed, and I kept zooming.
Watching. I'm like,
I zoomed
crap.
in.
Kim wants to go up. I had to make my bed.
You ran up and made your bed real quick.
Oh yeah.
Give you guys a looking down view here of the whole studio, so you can see.
Every morning I look upon my my minions of art.
You're like a little Mussolini up here, giving your little balcony speech every morning. All right. Well, Burton, it was great seeing you. Great stopping in. I'm gonna walk slowly out and show everyone a good view of this wall over here on the way
I wish
out.
I had someone here who's like a happy customer. I like had like someone.
Well, technically, I am a happy customer.
Oh my gosh!
We have 2 of Burton's pizzas in our
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Do you regret your purchase at all?
Not a bit.
Not a day goes by.
It brings me joy.
Changed
every
her life
day.
forever. Her life was on a downward trajectory.
And now it's just all upward.
Thanks to Burton's art, everything was safe. Let me raise my camera here. I can get
Oh yeah,
fancy.
in terms of pricing, like these 8x10s, to give you guys a sense, they're like 50. That includes shipping. But these are mounted by me, and so just contact me what you want, and they'll get mailed to you, or you can pick them up and save a few bucks. That's all listed in the site. So just go to burtongray.com, follow me on Instagram, blah blah blah, and I can answer your questions.
All right, Burton.
All right, Kevin.
I'll see you hoping for a glass of wine when I come back.
Yeah, either of you have a request?
No, just surprise me.
No. Surprise you. All right. Want a cup of coffee for the road?
No, because I already had a cup, and then I'll be bouncing off the walls. Oh.
That's good. Thank you.
All right.
All right, guys.
I'm stepping on out.
Yeah.
Spin back around so you guys can get a good view.
Bye, guys.
So someone asked the question, not for you. This is now a general question. You can shut the door. Can people fix the studios up however they want? Short answer, yes. I mean, you can kind of do whatever you want. There's a couple studios here that are notoriously just crazy immersive experiences. You saw, someone mentioned his hardwood floors. Yeah, you can put hardwood floors, you can put tile floors. Yesterday, the people on yesterday's tour, unfortunately, the artists can't show again today. We had Oscar Sheldon. He built a ship inside his place. My place itself is kind of famous because it looks like a giant bomb shelter with big giant like vault doors and stuff in it. So you can go crazy in your space. Basically, your space can be an immersive artwork itself. And a lot of artists do that. But then some want just their place to look like a house. So we'll see actually later on. We're going to stop by Bruce Dean's space. And again, it's a concrete block. But once you're in there, you feel like you're in this little homey little rustic house. So artists can go whatever way they want. So I'm going to switch Wi-Fi again to our next artist. So give me a moment while I switch to his Wi-Fi. And Todd here is gonna show us around. Oh, and there he is right there. Oh, you tricked me today. He has shoes on. I mentioned yesterday, I've known him for years, and I don't think I'd ever seen him wear shoes. He did this purposely just to mess with me today.
I just did it to freak you out.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm a little weirded out. I've never seen you with shoes on. I didn't even know you owned any.
Well, welcome. This is my studio, and I'll give you a little tour.
All right.
Once you walk upstairs.
one's new. It's a ship. This one is also new. It's very small, and it's it's going to be in a show in a dollhouse soon. This is one of my favorite paintings. These were inspired by blacklight posters. This one's 10 feet tall, and it's from a series of paintings based in Mount Washington, which is a neighborhood of Los Angeles. These are in progress. This is a series of Elizabeth I, Queen Elizabeth I. I don't know if you've seen those paintings from the 1600s, but they're insane. So anyway, that's ongoing. This is the chair. Get closer. This is also a Mount Washington painting. I'm still working on it, actually. This isn't new, but I'm still painting on it. What happens when you're in quarantine is, what happens to me is I look at my paintings and you know, all day and go, oh, I need to work on that one. And I've been painting on it, and I think I'm done. Tell me to stop, because I think I'm done.
Stop.
Thanks.
Someone asked why it's called a Washington painting? Mount Washington, right?
Oh, it's Mount Washington, which is a neighborhood in Los Angeles. These are new. These house paintings. I think I sold this one yesterday, which I'm really excited about. Everybody asks about it, but I think I actually sold it. This is a line of clothing. These are scarves, very glamorous. There's masks, which I probably should be wearing now. This is a kimono, yoga pants, purses, a pillow. This is my favorite hanger. I had it since I was a kid. These are prints. I have prints of pretty much everything here. This is a silk screen. I had 11. Started with 11, now I have 2. These are new. I had 3. It was a series of 3. I sold one. It's now in France, which I'm very honored. These are semi-new. These are framed prints, large framed prints. small framed prints. Very affordable. This is a series of greeting cards. Singles. I also have them in boxes. All on the website, by the way, which is westovertodd.com. This is a book. Also for sale on the website. It has everything up to this point, which is not everything. And let's see. Here's my kitchen.
I'm going to do a panorama of the whole place. You've got all kinds of people laughing about your presentation so far.
Well, thank you very much. westovertodd.com. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks for having us.
Give me an email or go to the site and.
You guys got any questions? Everyone's just sending in no questions. They're like, "Oh my God, that was so funny," and they love you. Isn't that great, everyone? How he can change from wearing sunglasses to not wearing sunglasses so quickly. I don't get how he does it.
And I've been practicing my skateboard tricks. So.
Yeah, and he's able to get so low to go to the ground there when he skateboards by.
Bye.
Todd, as always, fun. I expect no shoes on when I come back, though, because this is just weirding me out. The shoes are weirding me out.
See what I can do.
Not dealing well with that. All right. See you later, Todd. Bye. And folks, you're going to zoom in on that. Those guys next. All right, guys, I'm going to switch Wi-Fi to the next one because it's not too far away, and I should be getting their signal already. So give me a moment.
Barn is our next one, not
Oh, okay. Oh, they're not doing that. I'm just going to look in the door briefly here. These guys showed yesterday with us media pollution, but today they're filming a video in here and doing some stuff. So they couldn't have us come in for a studio visit, but we're just going to peek as we go by. That cool stuff. All right. Walk here to the next Wi-Fi spot. All right, give me a sec and let's see if we can connect here to our next artist's Wi-Fi. And it's
Come on over here. And all in one place for you to make it easy. Hi everybody, I'm Vaughn. Been at the brewery since about 2006. I used to live directly upstairs. A lot of this stuff is my older stuff. Had a kid about 3 years ago, so things have slowed down as far as the art's concerned. So come on, take a look, and
make sure you speak up. Some people are having trouble hearing.
Right, I'm trying to speak directly at you.
Yeah.
Audio's bad thing. What else? Oh, I've been doing Inktober, so if you find me on Instagram at Vaughn Hannon Art, then you can see what that looks like. Otherwise, take a look around. And all of this is acrylic backgrounds with charcoal and coffee crayon on top. And most of them are on canvas. There's one of them that's on wood panel.
Anything else you'd like to tell us?
For coming by. I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm glad you came by.
Any questions, folks? People, please ask them.
Or,
You can see as I
find me online.
show you some upstairs. Oh, there's waving from up there. We got our
friends upstairs.
Friends upstairs waving. Back out slowly here without crashing into anything. Oh, requisite cat, as everyone's seen. Even Burton had a cat. His might have been digital, but even Burton had a cat.
There's another one over there.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so you're making up for Burton's lack of cat? You and Magda have it with two are covering the the loops in our system. All right, last wave here.
All right.
You guys have a great day.
See you this afternoon.
All right, folks. Back outside here at the brewery. Now we're starting, we were confined to that one building at the beginning of the tour. Now we're outside. This space looks a little unusual out here. You see this concrete thing here. Well, this is a loading dock, believe it or not. So this was when it was a brewery. This was actually the loading dock. So trucks. We have these little train tracks all over the asphalt around here from when it was a brewery again. You can see right here is the 5 freeway. And if you ever drive make sure you Sorry, folks, cut out there a minute. I walked too far from my Wi-Fi spot. So you see the famous brewery smokestack there. If you drive on the 5 freeway and you've ever seen that, a lot of people think, oh, cool, there's a brewery there. I'm going to go sample some beers. And they find out instead it's no brewery in sight. It's 550 artists. But they did put that up there a few years ago. They used to just be an empty smokestack. Then they printed the brewery thing on there. You see that cool space beyond that. That's actually one space. That whole top floor is one single place. So if someone asks about size of spaces, cost, that is one giant space that takes the entire top floor of that building. Ton of windows. You don't get a dark night, so you can't sleep in. Let's put it that way. Light comes in the morning. You got an expansive, though, 360 view of all of LA from up there. Sounds really awesome. Everyone's like, I want to live there. There is no elevator. So you are walking, 4 or 5 flights of stairs every day. Oops, I forgot my thing in the car. I got to run back down. It's a 10-minute walk. So you will get in great shape, though. But again, here's the loading docks that long ago, they carved out all these different spaces, put in doors and windows so that these could then be subdivided into separate lofts. That whole process happened in the early 80s by the owner, Carlson Industries, when they bought it from Pabst Blue Ribbon. Pabst Blue Ribbon, like I said, kind of walked away from this whole complex. The power plant had already abandoned it long before, so it was bought by a company called Carlson Industries. Carlson Industries is an equipment, they take factories and they rip out all the equipment and resell it. And they did that here. They ripped out all the vats and all the equipment, all that sort of stuff, and they were left with all these empty buildings, these empty shells when they were done with ripping everything out. I'm going to pan around so you can see the empty shell here. So these were just these empty brewery buildings, and when they're done ripping out all the equipment, they thought, well, we're in the equipment business, maybe we'll get in the real estate business. So they decided to try renting it out, and they put an advertisement, I think, in the LA Times, saying they had these spaces for rent, expecting like businesses, like, textiles, where else come in here. Instead, it was all artists that showed up. Just lines of artists showed up to rent these spaces. And that's how they went, hey, I think we're onto something. You do have to be an artist to live here. Over time, they've evolved it, so you actually have to be vetted. When you apply to rent here, you have to show them that you're an actual professional working artist. So, you can't just be an accountant or whatever else and be like, I'm going to live at the brewery with all the artists. You have to be an artist to live here. So it is all artists here. All right, guys, we are walking back into a giant concrete block. And again, it's a sprint to the next Wi-Fi spot. So if you guys lose me, someone asked our space is available. Sometimes it is really hard to get into the brewery. You want to bother the office a lot. You want to check their website. So their website does show available spaces. When something goes up and available on the brewery website, it will be gone later that day. That's how much in demand it is here. And there is a lot of sort of inside job. People will find out, so if you know someone in the brewery, it helps because they'll find out someone's moving out and then they'll tell their friend who wants to move here. So it is a challenge to get in here. I got in 15 years ago in that inside way. I knew some people are moving out and I just took over their space. Stuff comes available, but you got to work for it. It's not like it sits there for rent for a week or a month. It sits there for rent for about a day. All right, guys, I'm going into this dark, forbidding corridor here. I'm going to spin around and we'll see how my reception stays. So let's give it a go. Oh, fun little thing I like to show here. We still got a reception here. This little staircase I like to zoom in on. So creepy down there. That's actually a space down there. There's actually a place you can go down there and someone lives down in there. It's like the Phantom of the Opera living down there. The Phantom of the Brewery lives down there. Hope he's not watching the stream. He's gonna come get me. So many stairs. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna be in the best shape of my life here for these tours. All right, guys, let me connect to a new Wi-Fi here. So give me a minute and let's see if we can get a connection here. And it looks like it's connected. Sorry. There, we're back connected. All right. Hey, Dave, tell us about yourself.
My name's Dave Lefner. I have been in the brewery for 22 years. I ran my first blog when I was 7. No, I'm a linoleum block print artist. So it's kind of a different medium than most people are used to. Most people are familiar with a woodcut or sometimes a linoleum cut in a single color, but I discovered a book of Picasso's series from the 50s of what they're called reduction linocuts, and you're using a single block of linoleum to print the entire piece. So you print a color and carve more. I have one of them set up. So this wall is all of my art. This wall. Other artists that we collect.
I'll make sure you speak up real loud. People, it echoes in here.
So one perk of living in our community is having access to art. So that's that wall. And then again, this is all my art. So when I was in college, I was really frustrated with kind of the art scene in the 90s. There was a lot of conceptual art, which I love, and some abstract stuff, which I love, but I wasn't finding things that really appealed to me as far as what I wanted to do as an artist. And so in finding that book by Picasso, I realized that it was this so labor intensive medium that really took a tremendous amount of skill and forethought to create a final piece. So I just poured myself into that. And so this is a little demo to kind of show the process of how I work.
I work from my own photography. I go out and I take pictures of mainly of old vintage signs. I'm a crazy nut for mid-century modern things. So I work from that, and then I do a line drawing of that image. And so once I have this drawing, it can be pretty loose. Then I have to do a charcoal tracing of the drawing, because that charcoal tracing is then going to get flipped down onto a block of linoleum. I rub down the surface of the paper onto the linoleum, and then I peel that back, and so you can see that image is now fixed on the block. So then I spray fix it so that the image will, that charcoal drawing will stay fixed to the block throughout the whole process. And then I begin my carving. So for my first stage, I want to reveal the white of the paper. So what I do is I go to the block and I carve a little bit of area away, and I carve any area that I want to be white. So then I ink my block with my first color, which is usually the lightest color, and I print my first stage. So say I print 10 pieces of paper that look just like that. So it's showing the white of the paper, and then the yellow is there. Then once I print my addition of 10, then I go back to the same block, I remove the ink, then I carve away where now I want to reveal that pale yellow. So I go back to the same block, carve a little bit more away, ink the block with my darker yellow, take this piece of paper, lay it down exactly on top, and then run that through the press, and then you can see where that darker yellow gets printed, but is revealing the pale yellow, and still the white has been removed away. Same thing, so I keep going through that with the same block of linoleum, printing the color, then carving more away to reveal the next stage. So this is only for demonstration purposes, because this is actually the block that actually printed this whole piece. So by the time I'm done, I've reduced it down, so the only thing that's left raised on the block is what allowed me to print that blue sky. So everything else has gotten removed away, so you can never go back and print any of the previous stages. So it makes it a very limited edition piece. This kind of shows a bit, so you can see how the block gets reduced down. So by the time you're done, that's all that's left of it.
So to clarify, it is a print, but it's a one-time print. It's
Exactly.
not like
or
you're
however
doing
many I start
Yeah.
with, so that's all I have to
Yeah.
work with. So it's a very unforgiving medium.
You
but
can't go back later and, oh, you want another edition of 20. You can't do that.
Exactly. So this is a pretty manageable scale, but I usually am working on a much larger scale. So you can see when you're doing a drawing that large, and then the charcoal tracing that large, to turn out a final piece, it's a tremendous amount of work. So, but I love the medium. I love that it is this labor-intensive thing, and it's sort of a different medium to work in, and that's what I've been doing for the last 25 years. So.
All right. I'm going to circle around your space here because it's a cool space. You guys seen all different size spaces. His is this expansive ceiling in here. I always love these boxes here because they're just these giant rectangles. I'm slightly jealous sometimes of these spaces because my ceilings aren't quite like this. I'd get lost in this ceiling.
I like the kitchen wall.
Yeah, we're going to go. I definitely have to swing them by your kitchen. So let's spin around here so you guys can see some of the equipment here.
Yeah, it's definitely visual overload, but it's everything is well curated by my wife and myself to make it hopefully not too crazy.
Organized chaos.
Exactly. But it's nice because I have my workspace here, and then enough comfortable living space as well.
Right. Yeah, just wave hello there. So we're going to walk back out. Yeah, people like their kitchen wall, so I'm going to make sure to stop by the kitchen wall.
I love it.
How's that for a cool kitchen wall?
And I'd like to thank Jessica and Kevin for coming through and doing this, and also for the brewery board. I know firsthand what a thankless job it can be sometimes.
And we got a lot of people from all over the world on right now. Although, as we found out, our friends from Ireland didn't realize about the time change, so they all got on an hour late, but they're here for you. So we're going to head back out the door. Thanks, Dave, for letting us swing on by.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Take care.
Olivia. All right, folks. Going to flip off Wi-Fi again. So again, Might get some spotty signal here for a bit, but we'll do our best. And I'm gonna just waving hello.
How's it going?
Good. Now swinging back by. Yeah, we interrupted his work yesterday, and he's still working. He probably hasn't stopped since last night.
Every time you guys come, it has to be monumental. We'll see.
That's Sheldon. That's Oscar Sheldon. He was on our tour yesterday. Unfortunately, he couldn't do it today because he's working on a project that needs to be done. Try to get some Wi-Fi here, folks. Give me a sec. Dog shouldn't kill you. We have a giant dog who's going to smell 13 cats on me.
I know, there's going to be something cute.
There it goes. So hopefully it doesn't kill me. We have power tools going in here. We have someone hard at work, it sounds like.
Hello, hello.
We're catching the artists in work. How's it going, Olivia? You ready to tell us a little about yourself? And as you can see, instead of a cat, we finally have a dog.
Grab my mask.
Remember, please speak loudly so everyone can hear you, and let's hear about yourself.
Okay, that's Phoebe. That's Tina. This is Boutros. This is my last dog. And if you read this, which is hard to read, it's called the Dog Gone Sea. So it sounds real fancy, the Dogon Sea painting, but it just means the dog is gone. See, he was 17. And now it's all about Beanie Boy. Come here, Beanie. Introduce yourself to the camera. This is androgyny. I'd like to see it big.
Oops, got myself in the view for a minute.
Big in some center square somewhere. And this one is Purgatory. That's the first one I did. I was like, I was 17. And this one is the mountain. It's got 20 heads on it. People face with their mortality, supposedly. And it's got old age and youth is the face of the mountain and the sleeper. And some fallen woman there. This is the witch and the man-child. And this is the racial divide. And well, they all have a little story. Another androgyny, textured black patina. And this is a bonsai that my cousin sent from Paris in a suitcase. And I got it in bronze and put gold leaves on it. There's 100 gold leaves. And I gold soldered the branches on and TIG welded the larger branches on and moved them around. And it was actually, when I started it, it was a project maybe to have an urn so you could bring somebody home and pay homage to them. But I spent so long on it, it's just the sculpture now. Ooh, a leaf, fallen leaf. And this is my friend Zorthian, who is a painter in Altadena. And this is the place that we built to live. It's a little studio. I put little slits in the wood to get it to round. And I just got a plywood, pretty much. And it's plaster on the inside. So it's the live work situation.
Want to take us back to your work area back
Yeah,
there?
and this is another roommate here, Nick's work. It's a very nice piece. That's an old, I was given that, that's got to be hundreds of years old. That's one of the Napoleons. And there's another Indian of a white one right there. And this is where I do some mold making projects to keep my mess down. Got to make another pedestal. Because all those pedestals on the sculptures I made.
So you make all those pedestals yourself?
Yeah.
Let's see how you do that over here.
Well, first I made a mold of the original. The original was a piece I found. It was in wood at a hair salon in Pasadena, and I bothered the lady for like 6 months until she finally let me mold it. But the capital has the 8 little things that are right here. So I sculpted kind of a yin-yang form, made a little mold of it, cast 8 and silicone, and stuck them on the wood piece, and then I made a mold of the whole thing. Because when I got it, the corners were just flat and boring. And then I made a mold of the whole thing, and now I use it for my pedestals.
Someone asked, are the pedestals for sale? Do you sell those?
Yeah. If anyone
Yes.
wanted a pedestal.
Answer that question. Yes, he does sell his pedestals.
Absolutely. Any, whatever color. If you want to check them out, I got some berry ones. But they're good for plants, artwork. And Kevin, this is a piece that a student brought this, but it had no arms. So we sculpted some arms on it to make it more interesting. It's 3 of these guys, cherubs, on each other's shoulder, and I put a blanket of clay on it, and then I made the shells around it. Now I have to remove all the shells, pour silicone in the middle, and then I'll have the mold for this piece, and I'll cast them in, maybe cement.
Great.
It's been sitting a long time.
It's neat, interesting how you had an armless one, and then you created the arms for it.
Well, it had no arms. Yeah, armless completely. Yeah. Needs to be finished before it falls.
Great.
And I think the girl who lived here before, Janet, I think that's a shot she put up with a friend.
You just left it up there?
Put it on the wall, yeah.
So that's actually, people have been asking about the space. I see in this case, he inherited a giant piece of art on his wall.
Yeah, it's a paper.
And he left it up there.
She did, Janet.
All right.
And if you want to go investigate, I tried to make the rounds wall, the walls round, because the forms, the square forms are
step
so,
up there if you don't mind. And
they're
take a
so
look.
hard.
So this is his living space up here, folks. And you can see the cool little bedroom he built here. with the rounded forms to it.
And that booth right there is a Habitat for Humanity booth.
Oh, that's great. All right, folks. Well, thank you for letting us stop in and see your awesome studio and seeing your work.
Thank you very much, Kevin.
And we are going to back our way out. You have a great day.
All right, thank you.
What's next?
We're heading over to Oscar Sheldon.
All right.
Do you have any idea what time this evening?
Let me take a look at the schedule right here, and I'll tell you.
All right, folks, we're going to cut out for a moment. And we are going to go visit Oscar. Oscar says he's ready for us. So let's see if Oscar's got everything all together in that 10 minutes since we walked by. Heading back.
All right.
And there's the man himself.
Let me just,
oh, he's going to run me over.
Still working, still working. Oh, watch your toes, watch your toes. Okay. Okay, this was the, that was the plant transporting device, okay? As you can see here, everything you need to become an artist.
Right here?
Canvas,
Says it all cover?
Paint tray, paint. We do need a paintbrush.
Almost. Well, use your fingers.
So, welcome to the Sheldonian Art Gallery. I guess we can start the tour here. This is the space bar. You're entering the space bar. It's a wild concoction of maniacs plastered to a wall. Some of them look strikingly similar to friends of mine, but it's up to you to make up the story that goes behind it. But if you know me, then you might get the real one. Space bar continues. We got some Bob Marley portraits here on the right. We got Salvador Dali right here. This is not a blacklight painting, so let's take a look in the light. We got Dali.
Someone says they think they recognize someone from your spacebar painting, just so you know. So.
Who?
I don't know.
Ask which one.
I missed the name of the person that has to.
Oh, that's awesome. So these are wood panels built in, okay? They actually go behind as well. So I think I might have showed you guys this yesterday, but I guess this is a different tour.
Different people.
Anyhow, there's some panels and stuff, but these wood panels, these are peggings, 8x4s. They're built into the wall. I'm running out of space in here, so now I'm having to build my artwork into the walls. And I needed to create myself a storage, so dun-da-da, we have a boat, okay? This is the hull of the boat that you're looking into. Stockpiled full of art materials, possibly hidden treasure.
Can you show the boat
here
first?
We have the actual boat, which I worked on until 1 in the morning last night. This is the plank here. Had to, in case somebody's got to walk the plank. Yeah, and then we're in the main theme here, which is surf and turf. And I'll actually kill the light. So this is the surf and turf series. Boom. One side being surf, the other side being turf. Obviously, this is the turf.
We started
side.
on the turf side.
And actually, this painting goes a little bit deeper. It's actually from the prehistoric to the extraterrestrial.
So it is surf and turf, as you can see up here on the right. The T-Rex from the prehistoric. We got a pterodactyl up there in the corner. From the prehistoric to the extraterrestrial, surf and turf. So, there's a lot of beings in this painting. I think there's 167 or something that I counted. All different types of animals, or beings. So that concludes the surf and turf. This actually right here, this painting right here, let me turn the light back on. That's actually a painting of Mount Denali that I did for Denali National Park. I have to mail it up to him. This goes in my great grandpa's museum. He founded Denali National Park, so it's kind of cool. It's called the Sheldon Research Center. So it's going from the Sheldonian Art Gallery to the Sheldon Research Center, in memory of great gramps and the founding of Denali National Park. And I actually did this piece right here in remembrance of a guy named Carl Rungius. Rungius he traveled with my great grandpa, and he was an amazing sketch and oil artist. He did a bunch of paintings of doll sheep. So this painting is actually a tribute to one of my great grandpa's best buddies, and it's like a family thing kind of. So anyways, that's the story behind this bad boy, which is actually going right here on the side of the ship. I was hoping to get it done before you guys got here, but didn't quite get back from Home Depot in time. Had to set up my little ply over there, all the plants, get a little foliage in here. So now I'm coming up. Now we're coming up into the, we have Dolly Watches Dolly, which is actually, the original painting is Gallo watching the Christ being crucified on the hyperbolic cross. Now, Dolly had that cross constructed for the making of the painting, in which Dolly is not in it, melting into the Sea of Cadac. So I recreated the original, and then I superimposed Dolly holding the hyperbolic cross, melting into the Sea of Cadac, where he painted the painting. My favorite artist, frame built out of toothpicks. Yeah, a lot of work on that one. Now we're entering into the upper lounge. We could call this the boat bar, I suppose, even though there's no alcohol in it. So anyways, yeah, and then these actually kind of cool. These are blinds off a 1964 Santa Barbara cruiser that I used to own. Fortunately, it got wrecked on the beach in Venice. You might have seen it on the news. Anyhow, the boat's gone, but I still have the canvases. And they're really cool because they're actual canvases that were blinds. So they made perfect sales. And there's actually a bunch of them that aren't even hung up. I gotta hang them up. These are all glow in the dark as well. This might be my favorite one of the whole series.
Someone asked a question about the ship. They asked you how you dismantled the ship to bring it here. I think they think you brought an actual ship here. That's a sign of your construction ability. It's not an actual ship, folks. He just built.
Tell him
He custom built his own ship here.
Right. Okay.
It was built from scratch, and he curved all the planks and did all that stuff.
Tell him this. However, various parts off the original ship, the Lurker, which these sails came off of, were used in the construction.
Yeah, so I mean, there are parts that he has.
This is actually off my '64 Santa Barbara cruiser.
So he saved some of the stuff in the wreck, but the actual planks he had to build fresh.
So there is some parts off an original '64 Santa Barbara cruiser built into this ship. And I do have the steering wheel, which I'll show you guys in a minute. And you're also entering, I call it the Dictator series. You got Trump. If you're a Republican, I can paint over the do not, and so it will just say obey. We'll charge you an extra $1,000. There's Che Guevara, one of my faves. If you haven't read his autobiography, you should. Kim Jong-un, total dictator, maniac, scumbag, but just thought I'd paint him. Here is this is a remake I did of the Madonna of Port Legat. I just redid this just to see if I could do it. Oh, and actually, this is actually one of my favorite paintings I ever did. Speaking of remakes, this is a remake I did of the Raft of Medusa, the original, which sits in the Louvre, which is 25 by 18 feet. Mine is only 24 by 36. However, I did spend 400 hours on that painting. So a lot of detail. Coming out this way. Coming out this way. Just thought you made it out of the Dictator series, and then you got to deal with old George. Painted as Jesus Christ. Complete ditto. Anyhow, anything to rile up the masses. Now we're heading out back over the railroad tracks, over to the standard, then back to the boat. Painting series right here is for on your way out of town. And as you can see, it needs a little paint, but spent all night last night building this bow of this boat. No idea how to do it. I just went and bought a sander because I was planning on having this all sanded up and tightened up for you guys, but just didn't quite make the cut. And then the last thing we have, the last thing we have is in here. Go ahead, have a seat. It's all nice and cleaned up. This is the other side of the space bar. Now, if you want to do me a favor and hit that light switch, that first one. There we go. Okay, now, you might want to stand on the other side and get a shot of this. What I had meant to be this is where I wanted to be when you guys came in.
Captain of the ship, ladies and gentlemen.
Alright, we gotta devise some type of. Oh!
Almost lost him there.
So now here I am on the giant beanbag, lounging. So this deck was actually built for hanging out, you know. So I got the beanbag up here, I'm chilling.
All right.
Awesome.
We'll let you rest, Captain Sheldon.
Yeah, we got to take off to the next stop.
Okay, let me just try and get down here without killing myself.
So, someone says they feel like they just took a trip.
Oh, excuse me, what was that? What was that? Oh, wait, the skull's forming. Hold on a second. Oh, wait, we got a glitch in the machinery. Oh, shit, I just noticed something, too.
All right. We got to run, Sheldon, so.
Okay. You guys have a good one.
All right, we're going to circle and back our way back out so everyone can see the view as we leave.
All right. Thanks, Sheriff.
All right, you have a good one.
Hey, how do I actually see this?
We'll get back to you on that after the tour. All right, folks. Stepping back out there of the Sheldonian, as you can see.
Okay, I figured I was like,
All right.
pissed I have to pay to see this.
Now, folks, I'm going to zoom in here just so you see there's a lot of artifacts left in the complex of when it was still a brewery. So this is just one of them. There's all kinds of little hidden weird things that I've found over the years in this place. Things where you're like, oh, what the hell is this? And it's just stuff that was left. After Pabst left and after they cleaned out everything of value, the company, Carlson Industries, had left a lot of little weird artifacts around. So Pabst believes in safety. All right, I'm cutting off Wi-Fi again, folks. We might. People with vertigo sometimes freak out trying to climb these stairs because there's this little weird tiny railing. that like makes no sense because you could just fall right over the side of it. It does nothing as a railing. And it goes up like 4 stories, so you'd bounce a lot on the way down. Yeah, for those of you that couldn't handle the movie Vertigo, well, don't climb up these stairs ever. A couple people said, no! All right. So we're going to take a little break here, folks. I'm going to show you the brewery. This is the Sky Patio, or as I like to call it, the Museum of Barbecues. There are barbecues dating back since probably the 1900s, 1800s. Who knows? Actually, they finally cleaned it up. There used to be like seriously 100 barbecues up here. There can't be more than 30 now. So this is the Museum of Barbecues. Now I'll let you show the view, beautiful view from up here of the entire complex. So of course you have the famous smokestack view that we saw from below earlier. This is the building we just came in through right here. There you have the 5 freeway again right there. That right there where all those trains are, that is the Piggyback train yard. The Piggyback train yard, the city of LA has been trying to buy that for a long time. They thought they had a deal worked out and they were going to turn it into the largest park here in Los Angeles, the largest actually urban park in Los Angeles, 187 acre wetland park that was supposed to be turned into. Beautiful site design. The Army Corps of Engineers came up with this beautiful site design. There's going to be waterways through there, all this stuff. And then real estate prices started to go up around 2012, and they suddenly the train yard said, nope, we're not selling it. They want $2 billion suddenly to sell it. So unfortunately, folks, we were supposed to have the most beautiful park in LA. It's going to be like Golden Gate Park in San Francisco or Central Park in New York. It's going to take that whole space. They're going to build these bridges from downtown into a quick expressway so people have a lunch break can go there. But the train yard got greedy, so the train company got greedy. So unfortunately, folks, we don't have it. But we still have downtown there. Look at that wonderful view. I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see it. All those historic buildings there. The largest building in LA you can't see from here because it is at this angle directly behind the US Bank building. And that's the Wilshire Grand, which is kind of funny that you can't see the biggest building in LA from where we're at. This is the rest of the brewery complex. So this is all part of the art complex you're seeing here. Everything here. This weird building right here is the far corner. That's actually was the owner's mansion originally. They built it after the brewery started to be built. Here's more buildings here. Let me just pan you around. You get a view of, I'm going to stand up on the park table here and hopefully not die. You see a view there of Lincoln Heights, which is the neighborhood we're a part of. And those of you who are going, what's wrong with the sky? The sky is confusing. Those are clouds. We never have those in LA. It was actually drizzled briefly this morning. We get like 20 days of rain a year, and apparently today decided to be one of them. Just briefly. It lasted about 3 seconds. But yeah, a rare cloudy, windy day here in LA. So one last panorama, and I'm going to take you on into the next space. Now, if you ever join us on a walking tour here for Artwalk in the future, you'll get to, of course, see all this stuff yourself live. All right, so this is the catwalk. Those of you, again, afraid of heights, there are people that won't cross this. We've had people on tours that are like, I can't do it, and we have to walk them around. Some people don't like heights. There's a lot of height here. And then a lot of people only walk in the middle portion where it's solid. They won't walk on the grate here because they're like, I'm going to fall through. And then there's idiots like me that jump on the grate. Whee! Want to see if we fall through, but I haven't fallen through yet. And every once in a while, some drunken idiot will actually just climb down there and hang off the whole thing and make a scene. I'm not going to say I have ever done that because in case the landlord's listening. No one has done that ever in the history of the brewery. All right, pan around. And another thing, as I mentioned earlier to you guys, see all this greenery. Trees, all these trees everywhere. There's a lot of greenery here at the brewery, believe it or not. And again, there's no dirt. So there's literally no soil here. All this greenery is just little holes that people drilled into the asphalt years ago. I mean, 30 years ago. And you go there and you'll see it's not like a specially made thing. It's literally just a hole cut through the asphalt that someone put a tree in. And as a result, we got all this greenery. So here we are entering the Fermentation and Storage Cellar. This used to be the cold storage for the brewery. It's a very fascinating building. It's just a giant block of concrete with actually the interior walls are all cork. It's fun when you actually have a space in here. It's interesting. You try to hang something on the wall and it just falls off because your wall is made of cork. They put this thin layer of plaster on it so you think it's concrete. You knock on it, it feels like concrete, and then you lean on it and the whole plaster falls away and you just have a cork wall. So it's a very interesting building. That said, Wi-Fi is hard. It's hard to get signal in here. So I'm almost definitely going to cut out on you guys for a minute or two as I run to the next space. So I'm about to take my sprint here and we'll see how long I stay in view. So here we go, folks. All right. Hello, Melissa. Tell us about yourself.
Hi, welcome. Welcome to my space. I'm Melissa Diane. This is Studio 401. I do a combination of painting and digital work and all sorts of stuff. So welcome, come on in. And I'll show you finished works and works in progress, and then also where I live. So as you come in, the first thing you see is, of course, my living space. I did clean up for everyone.
I was going to say, all the dishes are clean, everything's put away nice. This isn't how we really live.
No, this is normally not like this at all. That looks like I never cook or eat. So this is the kitchen area. The main loft area is up there, just to get an idea of how the living space is kind of compartmentalized. Bathroom there, of course, in the front. This is my little pseudo lobby. So again, moving forward into the living room diagram, I have my first body, well, I've been here for about a year, a little over a year. So most of the works that are here, the paintings, were completed in this space. This being the first body of work that I started here. I'll go over to this wall just to get some explanation. A lot of this has to do with fire season in California. The idea of the smaller ones, the ones that are close-ups of the face and body, are when the flowers were really blooming. So it wasn't this last fire season, but it was the one before. And I had to do a lot with my ideas of the land being reborn, kind of like the fertility of the earth after the fires have blazed through. Because we had this beautiful blooming year, the super blooms. So I was juxtaposing, I was driving through, I was on my way to Mammoth, and I just thought it was so gorgeous, and it had been so terrible, and then it was so beautiful after that. So I thought it would be really interesting to kind of juxtapose the idea of the body, the human, like our sexuality, our sense of ourself, with the idea of the land being kind of reborn with flowers. So that's what these are. They have kind of that flower pattern underneath. I actually did have these in Open Studios last year, so this is kind of the first iteration of that work. This, on the other hand, is a little more, this is the second iteration of the Fire series, where this is more of a this year type situation. It's a little more violent, aggressive, how do I put it? Slightly darker. But again, not dealing with, it's not necessarily, how do I put it? Dealing with current social issues, it's more dealing with personal issues, but the idea of how we have to burn down structures or burn down, for me, like the ideas of the past to move forward to the future. So again, the Burn series is pretty much all of this wall, but two versions, two seasons, kind of. Just to kind of elaborate on that, I actually work a lot with seasons. I shift a lot of the concepts and the narratives, kind of depending how the seasons change, the color, the light. I think it has a lot to do with moods.
Question came in, what medium are you using?
I use acrylic primarily. Some of the older work has oils as well. I use mixed media, so this is canvas attached to canvas. I really like texture. So there's glass bead, gel, canvas attached to
Oh, I see.
canvas.
So that's a separate pieces of canvas.
These are separate,
Oh,
yeah. Those
awesome.
are attached, and so that's why they have a three-dimensional look to them.
Got it.
That's new. I started that this year, canvas on canvas. I have a lot of leftover scraps on a regular basis. Actually, that will segue me over here. So these are, again, I have this big thing with three-dimensional objects on my two-dimensional paintings. It's for two reasons. I just like it. And then the second reason is because I do animate some of this work. So I have stop motion animations, and what I'll do is I'll take these are attached. So this is foam core that's painted with, this like neon colors. I'll move them across, I'll photograph and move them across the canvas. So what you'll get between my digital manipulation and my physical manipulation is kind of a twitch. Like you'll get the butterflies kind of moving around the canvas. That's the basis for why I do it. But on top of it, again, I just like it. Sometimes you can light it up too, and you get different shadows and reflections across the canvas that aren't necessarily there before. Again, just moving on, as you can see, I deal a lot with the kind of both, the human sexuality. I put it in the juxtaposition quite often of gardens, landscapes, and here this kind of pastoral alpine village, that idea of kind of, I don't know, how do I put it? I'm putting you to sleep a bit.
No, it's okay.
It's like in Dorothy the Wizard of Oz, where I have you, where they're all asleep in the poppies and these terrible things are happening. This is kind of what I do to you as far as what my landscapes are concerned.
Can we see the rest of your studio?
Yes.
We got about a minute left, so let's do a quick jog
it goes
through.
So fast.
I know.
So here is my design area. This is, again, where I read. I do actually still read sometimes. Make stickers, print my cards. This is my merch table. This is a lot from last year from Christmas and stuff, but I make cards, stickers, all sorts of things that a lot of times have to do with some of my paintings, so I turn them into merchable items. Over here is where I teach. So I teach for LACCD and Brentwood Art Center, and so all my teaching has been there for the last 6 months. These are all works in progress. I won't get too in detail with this now because we don't have a ton of time. But again, it has to do with nature, symbols, animalism, sexuality, so on and so forth. This stuff is actually very mystic. I'm getting mystic on this wall. And then last, this is kind of I always say this is my pretty light corner. But this is the pretty light area. This is where I do most of my drawing and my illustration. I like having the view, and something about also living in these spaces, you have to allow yourself to compartmentalize. One of the things when I first moved in, it was just, it's open, and you have to give yourself spaces. That's the one thing about, I wouldn't really want regular walls again, but you do have to find areas to work to change your mindset, change your brain a little bit. So this drawing desk just makes me feel cozy. That's why I kind of brought it over here.
Awesome. Well, thank you for letting us do a quick tour here of your studio.
Yeah.
Got your little upstairs lounge here too, right?
Yeah. That's my dressing room.
All right. Well, thank you for letting us join you and showing us around.
Yeah.
And we'll be back later on today.
Thanks for
if anyone wants to come back, we'll be doing another tour this afternoon.
Okay.
All right, again, everyone, that was Melissa. I'll zoom in on her door sign again when we get back out. So you guys can see her name here. Oops. Of course, the wind blows right then. Melissa. I'm going to show you guys this real quick. It's a cool view out here. This building has all kinds of crazy stuff. I'm going to turn off the Wi-Fi again briefly. And I'll zoom around here. And you got all these giant refrigeration doors. So all the doors in this entire building are these refrigeration style doors. And here's the roof of part of the rest of the building down there. So that's the roof to the first floor of the building. You can see there's another balcony down here, and people put chairs out here on this one so they can have a nice view. And if any of you guys are Dodgers fans, I'm definitely not because I'm from the Bay Area. I'm from Oakland. We're not Dodgers fans. But right there, let's see if I can get it on the, there we go. That is Chavez Ravine where the Dodgers play. We get wonderful fireworks shows. Well, you know, some people don't like that much because they have dogs and cats, but we do get some great fireworks shows. And and sadly enough, there's something on fire down there. We have a big fire billowing south of downtown right now. But we do have some lovely blue skies at the clouds. Hey, there you go. Everyone screenshot that. That is a wrap. No, okay. Now we're going to the next space, but that was a pretty awesome screenshot there. Back into this wonderful brick building. We are going to lose reception, I guarantee you. I'm going down 2 floors into a concrete block, but I'm going to sprint as fast as I can to the next Wi-Fi spot. So hold on. Let me connect to Wi-Fi, folks. Hold on a minute. See if we got it here or not. It's looking for it. It's looking for it. It's trying its best. Next studio here is Doris. And it didn't find your Wi-Fi. What's your Wi-Fi name again? 192, right?
I'm going to try to stay close to you this time, so it can pick up the sound.
Yeah, our audio's never perfect here. All right, tell us about yourself and about your art.
My name is Doris Vitar, and today I'm showing my work along with other works by Arab American women. So this wall here is work that has to do with my investigation on pattern. And I'd like to start with an Arab pattern from the Arab world and then try to trace back its origins, because most Arab architecture pattern is from many sources that are fused. And so this pattern in particular, which in its original state resembles this area, started in China. That's the oldest versions of it that I found, and it went to India, got twisted a little bit. It went to Damascus, and it stayed there. And the Syrian people just kept it in Damascus, and it didn't really go much where else. Until I found it, and I brought it to California. I twisted it, I manipulated it, I layered. I theorize that layering of patterns often causes other patterns, creates new patterns. And so it's been a 15-year, if not longer, investigation. And this is a mushrabiyya pattern. These are spools made out of wood and spindles, and they're put together. Each one is individually made. And I started with a depiction or an illustration, a drawing of one, and then gradually went down to a cut work of the paper. This is paper. All of this is hand-cut paper. It's all hand-cut.
So you're not using a laser cut or anything, you're doing it by hand.
Yes, because the laser cutters just, you know, I would do it. It's not like I'm a purist. I'm not a purist. But this piece turned into a performance piece because I didn't want to finish it until I could do something fun with it.
I like it.
And in slow motion, it's great. This is a piece that relates to the mushrabiyas, and the depth is a little strange. Now, behind mushrabiyas are the fantasies of the Arab world as being somehow the harem exists there. So in mine, it's called disorient. In mine, you go into it, and there's just another mushrabiyya. There's no harem. That's the point. This work here is by Lee Wagstaff. He's a British citizen who lives in Berlin, and he's from Pakistani and British background, and I just really love his patterned pieces. And so he's an international artist. Most of the people here are actually. And this is Joyce Delal's corner here, and her work is based on partition agreements between Israel and Palestine, resolutions that were never realized or completed about the right to return and various, things like that. And so she turned them into landscapes, literally. This is the partition, for example, and it's a canyon. It's like a slot canyon. And the words are all from the agreements that they made at that time in 1948. And then these pieces are similar, but in the center, and Joyce is originally from Iraq and she's Jewish, and the language of Baghdadi Jews was a Judeo-Arabic, and this is called knitting. And so she's putting the landscape back together, and this was translated by her aunt, and it's the Pledge of Allegiance in Judeo-Arabic, both of these, as well as this one too. And this again sort of takes us back to language from Palestine. And these are unique pieces. They're photos, but they've been worked on with pastel, so they really can't be reproduced. And this piece here is a piece that I made with Egyptian artist Nada Shalabi, also an Arab American. And we were working with texts and words and how they can change as you. And it's supposed to be lit a certain way, but I haven't worked out the lighting in here yet. So it's a piece in process. It's a prototype. It'll probably end up being larger and with moving lights that change how it's perceived as you move. We can get a little idea. It could also be above.
So how you light it, the words are going to appear differently behind it.
Yes.
Light it from one side, it's different than if you light it from the other side.
Yes, and then when you see it as a more sculptural form, you see content or content, and then you go to the right and you see it's contentious, and then there's Joyce's piece following it. So they're kind of working in tandem. And then this is the jewelry of Robin Brailsford. She's a public artist and does stuff all over the world. She's done a lot of things in Los Angeles, but she's a sculptor also and a jeweler. And so the work, I have it on, and these rings are all hers. They're just amazing. They're comfortable too. This one I love, but this is, you think I did things. I typed, I did all kinds of things. I cooked, and they didn't annoy me. They just feel like wonderful friends. And then if you want to get a close-up of this ship, the edge especially, and then, the things it's made out of. So these are made out of balsa wood. They're all individually handmade. And this piece obviously is made from a remnant of and they're very comfortable to wear. You would think, I'm not going to wear that, but it works really well. This is from an air streamer from the 50s, the reflectors. Sure. So it's a lot of elements from mid-century jewelry. And then the last thing, I'm taking up a lot of time here, but the last thing, I don't have Joyce to help me.
You want to help her actually hold that side in?
So for the spring art walk, this place is going to be a sonic studio of various kinds of sound making. So this is made out of security envelope patterns, the window parts, which I always put aside for 15 years, and then one day, because I made maps with the other parts, which that'll be in the springtime. But then it made this wonderful sound. So again, we're moving towards performance, and a harem I did from behind.
Just to show you guys a close-up, these, like she said, these are the little windows that are in all the security envelopes you get.
In your paychecks.
Yeah, she just cut hundreds of them out, and that is the result.
People are saving them for me. So this is a preview of the spring, and I'll be bringing in other artists that I work with for sonic pieces.
All right. right. Well, thank you for letting us swing on by and see everything here. It was awesome. We love the visit. I'm going to back myself out so everyone can see this beautiful window view you got too. And spin back around. Thank you for having us.
See you later. Bye-bye. Also my neighbor.
Huh. All right, guys, we're going to do that Wi-Fi jump again. As I said, this building is the biggest concrete block here in the brewery, and it can get a little tough. I am going to look out on the balcony again just to give you guys the same, just to show you, we just went down one floor, so here's that balcony we were looking down from just a minute, or up. And there's where we were just a minute ago. And this is that crazy, weird building with staircases going nowhere, and like some of these staircases, who knows where they go? They don't go to spaces, so here's a long haul. We're going to lose reception. All these crazy staircases. I'm pretty sure we've lost video by now, but let me try to reconnect. Hold on. Give me a sec, folks, while I see if we need some Wi-Fi here. Get going.
Hi, welcome to the Jesus Wall Studio, which is Kevin's studio. He's a photographer, and these are his prints. Maybe he can tell you more about each print. I think this is the 6th Street Bridge, but it doesn't exist anymore. And I was there with him when he shot this. Oh. Or was it a different? No, because like there's like.
Picture to your left.
Oh, the picture to my left. There's like when we were both there. But he can tell you more about the prints.
All right, let's go in and see the Jesus Wall, shall we? Watch out, Chris.
I'm good.
All right, more prints. 6th Street Bridge again. More prints for sale. And then the big reveal around the corner of the photo studio. Multiple sets, clients almost every day, and a big cove, and the famous Jesus Wall over here to the left. This is over 480 pictures of blonde Jesus, black Jesus, blue-eyed Jesus, green-eyed Jesus, old Jesus, cosmic Jesus, all the Jesus that we could think of. Some of these are very expensive, and some of them are pages ripped from religious calendars framed. We've had the wall for actually exactly 30 years this year, and it's currently in its 3rd location with the highest ceiling yet. Well, I really like the first one because it had recesses in the wall with little idols and lights on them. All right.
And I wanted to show you these icons because this one is really old. This was my mother's, and I think my grandmother gave it to my mom, and they're from Romania, from an Orthodox church. This one is also from an Orthodox church in Romania, in Bușteni. And
all right, if I can show you a couple. This is a First Communion from 1906. It's printed like photogravure, like money. The closer you look, the more detail you see.
Daddy, look, a gun.
Wow, thank you. A little yellow gun. Cool. Somewhere on here is a menu from a French ocean liner from 1934. And that's my warning that you're coming over to shoot. And as I said, a lot of these are laser Xeroxes, but oh yeah, for a while we were putting up money from different countries and somehow it kept disappearing for some reason. Even though it was very low denominations, that didn't work. So it is a work in progress. Every year we dust the pictures. Last year we added, you may not believe it, we added 57 pictures to the wall. They're all actually kind of small what we added. All right, and behind you are a couple custom walls by Celeste Cortez from Eagle Rock. These took a couple, 3 days to paint on each one, and each one has more than 10 layers. So they're really exotic. They're probably going to be here for a while.
It was meant to go with or contrast with as many different clothing changes as possible.
And he also has books.
Oh yeah, the book for sale. That came out a couple years ago. It's the only handbook to bridges of downtown Los Angeles. I went to the library to look for such a book, didn't find it, and the short story is I ended up writing it. All right, the Christmas light wall, or what I call the star wall, is a perennial favorite. Black was the best color. We tried all the different colors. And one quirk of this studio is that we have bathtubs to fill. So we get a lot of photo shoots to book the studio just because there's a bathtub. There's actually another one in the bathroom as well.
Make sure you speak up a little. Some people are having trouble hearing you.
So if you need any bathtub pictures or video with bathtub, this is the place to come to. We have one in the bathroom as well. And over here is the 16-foot cove with 15-foot ceilings. We do a lot of work here, or the Jesus wall, so they provide a very nice contrast between the sets. Most people say they didn't realize it was this big, so they assume it was an 8-foot ceiling. No, it's 15 foot. So that's a lot of work. And there's the Sherwood Forest of Lights over in the corner. And next to it is Anna's sound booth, which she's going to tell you about now.
So during the pandemic, since we couldn't really do anything, and I love like production and photography and film production, so I really wanted to like continue to create something. And well, I usually just used Kevin's photos and to create content. But anyway, during the pandemic, I created this sound booth, and I got everything from Home Depot.
Not the microphone.
Not the microphone.
The microphone.
But it was pretty cheap to build.
Didn't you narrate a whole book?
Yeah, so I just finished narrating the book Dracula by Bram Stoker, and it will be available on Audible. And I think I'm the first Romanian woman to narrate the book with the vampires speaking in Romanian. So I added to the book.
Authenticity.
Yeah.
Legitimacy.
And yeah, it's a great place to shoot sound. Well, I usually try to shoot at night. But somebody just put a fan just on the roof, so I always have to pay attention that that fan is off because the microphone can hear anything. And well, you can find basically you can find us at thejesuswall.com, and if you go to About or Artwalk, you can basically see my link there.
Okay.
My website and his photography website. And
great. Thanks for letting us stop on by, guys. I'm going to walk out slowly so everyone can see everything here. And again, all the links are up on the brewery website, as we've said before, so you guys can find their links. Oops, I get a self-portrait there of myself real quick in the mirrors. All right, thanks for letting us stop by, guys.
Thanks for coming to Brewery Artwalk.
All right, guys, I'm going to bounce over to a different Wi-Fi, even though it's not a long walk. We might as well make sure we got a good connection. Bruce or Josh? Bruce. Looks like it. All right.
Welcome.
It's all you.
I want to tell you a story about when I first came here. I moved to the brewery 20 years ago. I thought, when I saw this window, I thought, oh, we only have one window in this whole studio. But it's a really good window. It's great. I thought, how nice of the Carlsons to put in these big windows for the artists that were moving here. A few years ago, I talked to Richard and Steve, and they told me, well, we cut those big windows out because this place was filled with glass and copper vats at one time that was doing the fermenting of the beer. So that's why we have the big windows here.
They didn't do it for you. They did to get those vats out.
Exactly. They've done a lot of nice things for me, by the way, so I'm not complaining.
Missy says hi, by the way.
Oh, tell Missy
She
hi,
said
all
this
the
is.
way from,
She's been on the whole tour waiting for this stop.
all the way from Ireland. She's calling. That's great. Come on in. So this is Liam, and you know Susan.
Hey, Kevin.
Howdy.
Hi.
So when I first started my business, I became an illustrator out of art school because I didn't know what else to do. I was introduced to an art consultant, and I asked her to come over and look at the old illustrations I had in case she could buy some or sell them to her clients. She said, no, I really can't sell these, but I could sell that. And she pointed to a piece on the wall, not here, and it was one of my abstract paintings. It took me a year to give her any of the abstract paintings because they were so precious to me, as happens to young people coming out of art school. But it totally changed my career after that. She began selling abstract work for me. So that's what I'm doing now. So over here, we have some of the abstract paintings that I've been doing for the last 40 years. So that particular painting is a sample of a figurative painting. I began doing those when I went to visit my daughter in Europe for the first time. She was living in Rome, and Susan and I took our first trip there about 4 years ago. When I got back, I completely changed my painting style. All of a sudden, I was doing figurative work. This is one of the first examples here. That painting is called Anamnesis, which is a memory of a supposed past life. I didn't know why I did that painting or what was going on. I had a person come to an art walk about a year ago who sat and looked at it for 20 minutes and told me afterwards, oh, that must be about women releasing themselves from the bonds that they're feeling. That's the story I've been telling ever since. Yes, of course, that's what that's about. I believe that. So, the figurative paintings turn into staircase paintings, actually. Interiors. So here was the first staircase painting. Some of the more recent staircase paintings include some of the abstract elements that I used in some of the others, in some of the abstract paintings earlier. We have a painting all the way in the living room. My studio used to be in a different building. Now it's 12 feet away. So here's another abstraction. And this large painting was done recently. So that's another one with the abstract elements on the side of the staircase painting.
Got some great compliments coming in from people, just so you know. Kim Tucker just said gorgeous.
Oh, that's great. Hi, Kim. So the thing that attracts me about the staircase paintings is the idea that they aren't telling a complete story, that the viewer gets to tell their own story. Maybe the viewer's wondering, well, what happens at the other side of this, around the corner, or up the stairs, or down a different level? They're part of the narrative, and I appreciate that. I enjoy that. It's like a conversation that we're having, because I'm not sure what happens on the other levels either. But I think, well, what took place here 20 minutes ago, or what's about to take place here? So the actual first fine art that I did that was realistic was a few years back. These are all digital paintings. They are places that don't actually exist, but the textures are real. So I began doing this, what I call the Nocturne series. These are prints of digital paintings. An example, like if you see the bench there, that's actually a picture of one piece of wood that I brought into Photoshop, and then I made 4 copies of it and turned it into a bench.
All right.
So if you have a minute, I want to show you some of the prints real quick.
Sure, we can do that real quick.
Sure. So I've been telling people that Susan gives me assignments, and she said, could you please say that I do it good-naturedly in a good way? And I said, absolutely. I forgot that part. So she assigned me birds a couple years ago. So I've been doing these bird drawings that we turn into prints. And as I mentioned to you before, I opened up an Etsy shop when the coronavirus hit. So all these prints are for sale on Etsy. There's actually bird cards that you can buy with envelopes, a whole set of birds. This is one of my early illustrations. This is from The Great Gatsby that was done for the great books. And these are all Gatsby prints. And then, of course, there's the author prints. I've done 60 portraits of authors as well. And here's just a few. So the last area is the bestiaries. My son's watching today, so I want to talk about this. He suggested, he's a writer and an English professor. He suggested we do a book of medieval creatures. So these are all, he does the writing and I do the drawing. He's also the art director. He tells me, well, they look like this. Well, no, a little bit different than that. Can you make him doing this? You know, his idea was to make these bestiaries, these prints about creatures that aren't from Europe, because most of the bestiaries that we are familiar with, most of the medieval creatures are from Europe. These are from other places. This is one of my favorites. This is called the cactus cat. It's a Western myth. And the cactus cat is dangerous because it sleeps in cacti and it drinks the fermented juices and gets drunk. So that's when it becomes dangerous. Watch out for the drunk cactus cat. This is from Mexico. It's an Aztec legend. There's quite a few of these as well.
Awesome. That's great stuff, Bruce.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting us pop into your house. I'm going to back up so everyone can get a good view here of the place. As I back up, not crashing into anything. So as you guys see, very homey looking. Not, you know, this is a giant concrete box we're in. You can see these concrete beams. This was a place where beer was being fermented not too long back. And now it is his homey home. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Susan.
Thank you.
And we'll see you guys later.
Bye, Jessica.
Bye.
All right. Now we're stopping by the last stop on the tour, folks. We're going to go see my friend Joshua. We're going to switch to his Wi-Fi here.
I'm going to speak a little closer today to the camera in hopes that the words make it from here to there. Okay, I'm Joshua. Hi, I don't think I need my
you don't need to worry. I got mine on, so you're okay.
This is electronic.
I'm staying way far away from you.
We're all good. Okay, all right. Welcome. This is a new work. It's near completion, but not completed, but close. Inspired by I think the film's called My Octopus Teacher. Love the movie. Just very moved by it. If you haven't seen it, you might want to check it out. But that's not a commercial for this. All right, I work in oil. I paint abstractly. I've developed a language. I've been painting for, well, since 1987, so a while. And I've been doing this professionally since 1999. And it's at the time I got this studio was then, and I got a commission for 48 works from a designer named Kelly Wursler, who's since kind of done really well. And I needed a studio and a larger one, and it worked out. And I love being here, and I work here every day. I work in oil, as I talked about. Let me show you some new works here. So this, I don't know how the colors are going to come out. I think a little bleached, unfortunately, but it's a very subtle painting, and it's called The Ghost of Spumoni, based on the idea of a ghosted kind of sweetness, and underneath there's some depth. This is brand new. I haven't really titled the painting. You might be getting some reflections on it. I'm not sure. Like that. All right. Then also, I'll show you this behind that is a painting which is I reworked. Voila. It's all good. It's all good. And that was out to my cat, Winston, who I loved and had for about 21 years. So,
I remember
you know,
Winston
Maj.
well.
Yeah, you knew him. You knew him towards his geriatric years, but sure. We love our pets. So, if anyone has any questions, chime in. I'll listen for your cue, and I'll be more than happy to answer them, okay? You can reach me also. Instagram is good. This isn't a commercial, but basically a good way to see what I'm up to. Joshua Elias 57. There you go. This is brand new as well. I've been working quite a bit during the pandemic. This is called The Calm of the Calm, which we seem to need some calm. Perhaps I'm projecting, but I think not. Okay. And this painting on the right is called Candy, which has a little more action in it, and there's a lot of depth within the sweetness. So I've been exploring that idea of what is sweet and what's important in a philosophical way because of what's been going on, you know, in the world and in our lockdown mentality. Any questions or hellos or? Okay, there's some details that Kevin's doing a great job on. Okay. What else to tell you? There's quite a bit else going on in the works. I will show you one other piece right now. Okay, those are some of my brushes and my materials. Well, we'll go to the table quickly. This is where some of the, whatever you want to call it, it's probably inspired by Francis Bacon, but this is always the way I've been working, okay? So I use these tables for like 20, 30 years, and this particular one's about 10 years old, I would say. Although it's quite a mess here, I am a fairly clean painter. I like clean colors, and I have kind of a very clear mind often when I'm painting about colors and about what's going on. This is a sample palette of something I was working out. And I work a lot of times out of butcher trays and things like that. And I like to work in a lot of halftones and tones of color. And I think a lot about color theory and balance throughout my work, but it's not intellectual. It's, at this point, it's very intuitive. Any questions? None?
Nope. A couple of people, a bunch of comments, people saying how much they love your work, but no questions yet.
And thank you. You know, it's always nice to have acknowledgement. It's odd in this format, but appreciate it. Thank you. So.
All right, Josh, you want to show us one last piece, you said?
Sure. And it's called Hancock Park. And this was in the pandemic. I was taking walks with friends around different parts.
Oh, you do get a question. Andrea wants to know, where do you get the inspiration for this style of painting?
I've been developing this style since I started painting. I have quite an art education. My mother is a professional artist, and so is my sister. So I grew up in Chicago, and I've been, let's just say, museumed out. And I've traveled quite a bit, and I've seen a lot of art in my life. I've probably been to more art shows, openings, than anyone. Which is not a braggadocio, but it's just a fact. So I've seen a lot of art, and then you let it go, and you listen to your own voice, and you nurture it through meditation and through the love of the act of painting, and through intention. So that's where I get my inspiration.
All right, Joshua, thank you for letting us visit into your home and your studio.
You're most welcome, and thank you guys for visiting. Here, let me make this space.
Do one last pan so you guys can get the whole studio in. All right. I'm going to sit in your doorway and do my closing thing because I got to use your Wi-Fi stuff.
Oh, of course. Okay.
So I'm going to spin this around.
We'll see you in a little bit for the second turn.
All right, everyone. That concludes this Brewery Artwalk tour for today. There is a separate stream that runs of 22 other artists concurrently run by my cohort Magella. So you guys can join her tour later on today, or you can do my tour again if you want. But there's a 3 o'clock tour in an hour, so me and Magella gotta go sit down and rest our feet for a bit because this is our 4th tour here coming up in 2 days, and we're exhausted. But if you want to join Magella's tour a little bit later, please do so. She does a great tour of, like I said, totally different artists. So it'll be a whole different crew. You guys have a great day. Thanks so much for joining us. Again, go to the website where you can get the information on all these artists we saw today, all right? Thank you and have a good day. And I'm going to try to make this thing sign out. It doesn't want to let me. It wants me to stay on.